Welcome to the channel, everybody. Welcome to FC26. For anybody following the channel, this would be odd, but if you read the title, it says goals, top 40 player plays, champs. Now, crazy thing is, I totally forgot because it's been so long, but I have to first qualify for champs because I don't play any other game besides goals, since goals, in my opinion, is the very best game. Now, all these patches have been coming along with all these games, including FC. Probably has changed the most recently with regards to that aspect of trying these development companies trying to better these other games, and understandably so, right? They're in a bad place. eFootball, UFL, FC26. Obviously, goals is an alpha, so there's improvements going on there as you would expect. These other games, though, are in full release. And I'm not going to show any bias. I never do. Whether I'm speaking good about a game or bad about a game, it's my honest opinion. Now, the crazy part is, because the games have been so bad, people are typically, if you follow this channel, used to seeing those scathing reviews, and rightfully so. And that's not just with my channel, that's with Nick Runs the Foot Market, Inception. In eFootball, you have Indominator, Bombin. In UFL, you really had me. Yeah, there's Pantera as well, though. And so you see these scathing reviews of these games, and so seeing so many positive videos, one after another for goals, it's definitely a change of pace. And for some, it's probably like, wait a second, is this game really that good? Well, truthfully, yes. Right now, is it in its final state? Obviously not, or it would be full release. Goals is in alpha for a reason. They have a lot to work on. And you judge these games accordingly, just like I did with UFL. I gave UFL when I was starting my channel, covering UFL at its from early release on. I gave it so many chances, even past the time where they really deserved it, where they Strikers, the development company, was showing some greedy, terrible tendencies when they were making terrible decisions. I gave them the benefit of the doubt for a long time. And so the point of this today is to showcase the honest game, how FC stands, and compare it to goals, which it's unfair considering goals is not in a finished state, right? Imagine a boxer coming into a fight only having, a third of his camp completed, with the other boxer having a full camp. And not only that, but FC's been around so long, it would be like a rookie boxer coming in without a full camp versus a veteran boxer with a full camp and a ton of experience. So you would think the advantage goes to this game right here, FC. And this is the team I'm bringing in. Now, this is a huge disadvantage for me, considering I'm way behind the power curve. I went out with the little bit of coins I got and got a couple of broken cards just to, fit the mold of what an FC player does, right? You play in the most broken meta, which I don't even know what it is. This is the setup I have, right? We'll see how it does. I couldn't tell you. There's usually that broken formation. I think 4-5-1 is actually the dominant setup right now. Claudio Pena is one of the broken players this year. Rodman, similar. I had Pat Graham Hansen. And then, of course, I have a lot of my evolutions and stuff like that from the theme I went to before I left this game. Just was trying to make FC26 fun. As many have said this, I'm not the only one, but it felt like an empty game. It was getting boring to play, so I tried to do anything I could to revive it, revive my interest, revive everyone's interest, give ideas out there. So I did an all evolution go, evolutions to glory, if you will, and that's what you see here, a lot of those evolutions, but it just didn't work at the time. But we're going to take this team in nonetheless. We're going to go straight into rivals, try to see if we can't qualify for champs, so then I can actually get in and see how it goes. And we're judging everything. Obviously, at the forefront would be the goals net code that's unique to them. No other game has it. FC, notorious for terrible connections, so we'll be looking at that. The playstyles and playstyle pluses having such a huge effect after EA Sports heard all the complaints and said they were going to get away from that. However, we're right back to the point where apparently if you don't have certain playstyles, the players just don't feel right on the pitch. Certain players being broken, not being able to use everybody, not being able to use every setup, all the mirror matches, just all the things like that. The arcade style nonsense that has taken over, any semblance of true football. So that's what we're facing here. So right now you see a pretty overpowered team. We're facing with, of course, Claudia up top. A mirror match as you would expect. 4-2-3-1 versus 4-2-3-1, the usual suspects. Which, again, you don't get in goals because every player is made up, is unique. Not just to the game, but to each team as well. So you make your own superstars. It's always unique matchups. The player not only wants to play how, the setup that they like that suits their play style, but also the players that they get. It's a totally unique system over there, and it really is a breath of fresh air. Now, I said this before. I played this after the patch a few times. Definitely, the game feels better than it had previously. But remember, I'm somebody that came from the beta, giving this game rave reviews, giving them a chance that they didn't deserve after such a terrible FC25. And so I was around to see how bad they dropped off from the beta to the full release after several patches, right? And so it's hard for me to just jump in, see a patch, and go, oh, yep, FC's back. They're good, because they mess up so many times. Not to mention, it's not just about, how good the game feels as far as the patch goes in actual football. It's the connection, too. There's, of course, the counter through ball. This one off of a corner, but this is a big problem in this game, apparently. And you could see there where it could be a problem, too. Here we see the park the bus action going on here. And 1-0. So the counters are real in this game. The counters are real. Wasn't a counter through ball there necessarily, but counters nonetheless. You can see I'm going up against it. 7 million players in the box here. And it looks like a penalty. We'll take it. Oh my goodness. Gotta love it. Gotta love the connection issues right off the bat on a penalty kick. Go figure, ladies and gentlemen, go figure. The joys of playing FC26. You can't even take a penalty the right way. Yeah, the joys just aren't there when you play this game, man. It just feels so empty. It's just a lot of the same nonsense. It's not really football at all. It doesn't feel like football, at least. But, people can point to the sharpness. Let's say the art, for instance. Let's say you don't like the more, people are calling it cartoon, comic book look, and you like more the realistic view. For me, I've said this before, I'll say it again, it could be zoo animals playing. Now, for one, the artwork that Goals has, it's good. It's not like it's bad. Rematch has much of the same and people love it. I don't know if it's because it's more of a real football game, so they want more of a realistic look. But for me, that will never how many times do you ever see just strikers sitting there to receive a ball at the 6-yard box? That's insane. But the look, the graphics, whatever, will never ever touch like the real football feel on the pitch, right? And to be honest, these games that I've been playing are much better than the typical connection with with FC26, right? It's typically, this feels better overall. But it's still just a ton of non-football nonsense. Like, we have the zigzag run problem that some players use more than others in goals, right? But there's no doubt, I feel like at least, that the goals team will fix that. We'll get rid of that because it's just not real football. And that's what you have here. You can isolate one player and you can literally run around in circles until that player gets open, right? And it's just not football here. Or it's just not football. Like, I could do this over and over. Obviously, the more skilled players are going to probably figure out a better way, quicker way to shut you down doing it. But it's still an issue when it shouldn't be. And not only that, but the different play styles that you have to make players useful, which means that certain players you have to use. Other players are just don't feel right on the ball, especially depending on the connection you have. There we go again with the constant 74 players in box. We'll check my depth, by the way. Just so you guys know I'm not parking the bus. Let's see. Defensive approach is high. So my line's on 60. And you see where everyone's hanging out. What's up, 330? How are you? And so it just doesn't feel right. You're sitting there defending within the box. Literally, I have 60 depth, and my defenders are sitting there playing within their own box. My opponent's parking the bus with 74 defenders back. And that's just what you face over and over and over. I mean, I've done well defensively so far, but still, the level of player I'm playing isn't at the highest of caliber, but typically a player that gets the ball in these areas probably is going to do better with it. I mean, these guys are receiving the ball at 60 depth when your defenders are sitting in the 6. So you see how many players he has back just sitting there, right? And I can just isolate my players. You take women's players or good dribblers, and you can do things like this. He does well to block there. Good job defensively there too. But that's why when you see, and I have some footage of it, I'll have a video coming out on this soon. You see the pro players and the games end up 5-10, 13-6, 8-5. A low-scoring game is like 8-5, right? It's insanity. But look where the defenders sit, and then when you park the bus, even you can do the zigzag dribbling. So imagine a pro level player in FC and Anders Verging and all these guys, which that's one of the games I'm talking about. There's a pro game he played. The final score was 13-6. It's insanity. Now I get it. Oh, well, it's not. It's virtual football. There's going to be more goals sometimes. I get that part of it. But you still want that true football feel. Like if I'm playing American football, I don't want a game that's 110-90. Like a basketball score. If I'm playing basketball, I don't want a score that's 300 to 200, right? You want the sport to still have a semblance of the real sport. Otherwise, you're getting into total crazy land, and that's pretty much what FC is turned into, right? So it's 2-1, low scoring, but a lot of that has to do with the level of both myself and my opponent. There should be no reason why players are sitting within, the 6-yard box. Oh, the good old tackle back. You gotta love that. Here's the old counter through ball method. We'll see how this goes. Good old player lock, which might seem like a good thing, but it's so unrealistic. The runs that you end up making. I like the ability to manual switch there. But the runs that you're making are insane. One of the broken cards of this year. Claudio Pena doing what Claudio Pena does. Somehow I was able to switch my players and wrap around the defender, so I'll take it. I think that was because he had an AI control in his other defender. Uh-oh. The good old AI. Oh my, the good old bounce backs. Again, all areas that goals is already taken care of. The one area I'd say they have to take care of because the bounce backs don't happen. The tackle backs, they have the stumble, so those don't happen. But it's the ability to immediately steal the ball back, like you can switch to your player. They got to switch that out, and the way to do it, I believe, is have a cooldown period similar to eFootball has this, which eFootball still isn't very good, but eFootball has it nonetheless. And then not only that, but they also have FC has it a bit too, but it's just not good enough because you still have the tackle backs and the bounce backs. Not nearly as much, I'm gonna say, but still, you see the ball just bounces off the player on interceptions, and it's just not realistic, right? That's somewhere where they try to say it's realistic, but the realism goes out the window. So that's where goals recognizes where FC and these other games don't. Where to tie in real football and where you have to change it up. So they make the ball stick to the player's foot like glue, even though it's not realistic, but it makes more sense for the football game, right? Because it's also not realistic that every time you intercept a pass or make a tackle, the ball's bouncing all over. The ball doesn't do that either. So what goals did is actually more realistic and actually makes the game better where it rewards the player that deserves to be rewarded, right? But all they have to do is make it to where the player can't immediately pressure and steal the ball back. That's the only area they have to work on, right? Good D. All right. Just couldn't pull that skill off. Oh, no way. And then they score that way off of basically a tackle back. Kind of insane, but he deserved it from the first one, so it's how it goes in FC, guys. That was kind of insanity. Read it like a book, baby. Oh. Oh, no way. The automatic tackles are back, guys. The automatic tackles are back. It's kind of crazy. Yep, the automatic... Oh, my gosh. Yeah, the goofy stuff that goes on in this game are insane. The goofy stuff that goes on in this game is insane. Let's just be honest. And again, this is full release. This isn't alpha. There's just so much that takes away from the actual football. That's where the issue lies. Look at the delay. He won the tackle and it registered so late that he accidentally kicked it out of bounds. That's kind of crazy if you think about it, guys. And you wonder why I say like goals is better. It's just the football that comes down to your decision versus your opponent's decisions. That's really it. Right? Like I can go play this and be successful all day. I ended my last stream with a rank 3 with a all evolution team. Just totally behind the power curve. Not to mention I hate doing this part, but you have this part of it too. right? You have this part of it too. This is part of FC. The time wasting. They see what Goals has done. They're the biggest, richest development company. Oh my gosh. That's how Rusty M is precision shooting. In the world, they couldn't see what Goals did for time wasting. They're just too proud and they can't admit that Goals is just way ahead of the game from them. And that's the ball game, folks. Welcome to FC. So there's our big rivals win. There's no way that I would just want to do that game after game after game, and these guys play that. For one, the defense just naturally sits way too far in the box, and clearly FC doesn't see a problem with it, or just simply can't fix it. The tackle backs and bounce backs are insane, right? If you get a player that's not Rusty, you know, even just the ability to just dribble around in circles and stuff is just nuts. It's just far too much wrong with the game, man. There's just far too much. There's just far too much. Now, then you get into the menu part, and I get it, right? I get that there's a lot here. So, like, even that, I finished one game, and there's a bunch of objectives, and then you play tournaments to get objectives and gauntlets, and right, it's a game that has so many different things to do, so much different stuff in the menus to keep up with, and to get certain things to get, like in this case we got what, a coin boost. So now for the next 5 matches you get coins. You have the season passes, which who knows if I actually do hope Goals goes that route with the season pass, just not in the scammy dog crap way that that FC went, where it's all about money over and over, and you have to get these certain players to get the play styles that you want, or to get the players with the play styles that you want, right? Chiellini new to the game, like, yeah, it's cool to have like Henry, right? Obviously on this list you go Henry for 20 games. It's cool to use legendary players like this. The issue that you run into, though, of course, is simply that you have this over and over and over every single year, and then there's 17 different cards for all the top players, and then it gets repetitive, it gets old, and then it's game after game. So for Goals to have that breath of fresh air, approach with all unique players, where you create your own superstars, where they retire, which is an absolutely brilliant idea, right? I mean, these are all big things that you'll never get in FC. That's why, in this game over here, that's in full release. By the way, that Zonzi guy kind of looks like Henry. You get that empty feeling. You get that bored feeling. It doesn't matter how much there is to do, and none of that stuff matters. You get that awful feeling. So we got Henry. We'll go buy, of course, you got to buy all this shit, because it's never just the players. They had all the extra stuff that they had to add to it. That gets old too. So we go in. We'll get our... It's so nice not having to deal with this kind of stuff. Like, get our hunter. Oh, I can't even afford it. I can't even afford to give my player the speed boost that he needs to, like, keep up with the other player. It's just crazy, bro. Like, a player is what a player is on the pitch. There's no boosters you shove up their butt and they become rocket fast and all this. It's just the history of how this game came to be. It's just full of just non-football people doing non-football shit. Let's just be totally clear there. By the way, let's see what other positions can you play there, champ? Well, we have a right wing. Let's see how old Henry does up top up there. I might not even be able to play enough of these games to get to a point where matters enough to play champs. How many games do I have to play before I qualify? Oh, hey, I'm in there. What do you know? All right, here goes nothing. Let's see if can I redeem it. Yep, I just had to play one more game. All right, there we go. Let's get right into it. This is a team we'll bring into champs. First champs in forever. Who knows if we'll finish it, how many games we'll get into. It could be as little as one game. You never know. But we have the broken Claudio Pena, not at striker, at left mid. Rodman's on the bench. I really should switch out and sell this Rodman. So here's the thing. If you do an open market, let's see, compare price. Oops, nope, I didn't want to do that. If you do an open market, let's say with the made-up players and goals, right? You have your legendaries, your rares, your epics, and all that, and you have a player. Let's just say there's a made-up player called Rodman. And you go and see, does anybody else have an epic around this overall for that price? And each player's got to know how to read the players and understand what the price is. You can have limits on them. But I think they're worried about like the hackers, the coin sellers, and all that, which I get. However, if they're going to do a market and goals, I hope they don't go the eFootball route, because eFootball, you might as well not even have a market at all. What the hell? I thought I bought it for like 80,000. Why is she 100 and something thousand? There's no way. Something ain't right here. So you definitely don't want it to get as toxic and as messed up as the transfer market over here in FC. But like, let's say I want to go transfer market, Rodman. But clearly with the companion app and all that, like, Goals has the firepower to put out a great whatever they decide to do. So we just got to trust in what they decide. I think it would be cool, though. Maybe you need a striker and you get packing sick legendary defensive players. Someone else needs them. You put them up for sale. You get a certain amount of coins, and then you can go out and purchase an attacking legendary that someone has, or maybe two epics, or instead of one legendary. There's just sky's the limit. So I hope they come up with something like that. That's my hopes, but I'm sure they're looking deeply into it to see if they believe it's worth it or not. See, around 83. That's the right mid one. But the one I have is a striker one, I believe. We'll do 86,000. 86,000. See, we go to the club. By now, 86,000. We'll even do it for 85. Try to sell it quick, because we're not going to be playing this. Whoa. There's that. Hopefully that sells, and then we go and purchase. See what player we would need to survive. That could help us survive having a team way under. So I have those two Team of the Year, blah, 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 whatever, timed cards. I only get them for a limit. So I have Puteus. We have to make sure we switch up our player roles. Ramirez. Holding ball winner. She doesn't have anything here, but deep line build-up is how we play her. Alright. this is where we make the change. Bertase is a CDM. Belmonte is a cam. Crazy I packed Hansen so early on and she's still OP in that position. Probably center back is where I'd probably be, would be smart to go. And they say the transfer market's dead, so it looks like it is too. That ramen still isn't selling. Use the restroom and then we'll get going and do another game. Yeah, so the biggest thing is the looks. Like, it would be so interesting. I wish I had the power to do this. Obviously, I don't. But if you could play with the graphics switched. Because people are so used to looking at the 30-plus years of work that FC's put into making their graphics what they are versus goals that went more of the look that they did with the art, the cartoon / comic book type of looking players as opposed to realistic. But when you put that aside and look at the football, goals is just crushing FC. You don't need 7 million different things to do. You don't need, like they'll add, for instance, when you're shield dribbling, they'll add that look where the player's kind of like shielding the player off, because right now it can look like the player's not really even doing anything, even though they are. But the football is there. And again, they're still in alpha stage and they have years and years and years to go. But it's just more pure football. And so it's going to look a certain way. There's not all the animations and the AI like coming into play that fill in the gaps in these other games. And that's what people have to realize too. If you want it to be about your skill and what you're doing on the pitch, right? That's where these games don't really touch. So what do we got here? Okay, there we go. Looks like we're playing the 4-5-1. Sides. Nope. Yep. Henry already feels way heavier than Robin, of course, he should, in the sense that he feels that way, but he's going to be a bigger player. However, they're both very good players on the pitch, so the heaviness shouldn't translate to how good they perform on the pitch, and that's where Goals has that figured out. FC doesn't. You use certain players, it doesn't matter. They could be one of the best players in the game, stats-wise, and they feel like crap to where they're damn near unusable. Nice skill move to do an animation right through my tackle. Yeah. It's insane. One zero. Oh, good old precision shooting, which, by the way, sucks worse and worse with worse connection, which we all know the connection sucks in this game terribly. Look at that delay in my movement there alone. Oh, man, like, that alone is going to get goals so many players, guys. I'm telling you. Like, the inconsistency, I don't know, if you slow-mo that, you could see what I'm talking about. Just the slowness in movement there is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. I might have to sub out Henry simply because he's so heavy you can't even use him. One of the best strikers to ever play the game. Look at that. Yeah, it's just pointless to... it's just all delay. Even he was delayed there on that finish in case you guys didn't know. And so I came into goals having this mindset, right? So one of the things like the shield dribbling where you couldn't see exactly what was going on, I automatically assumed, look at that. I mean, who wants to deal with this? I'm already done. I don't even know if I'm going to make it through this game. The fact that you can play a game and not have to deal with this shit, dude, it's the delay is so bad it's not even funny. Look at the reaction times. It's insanity. And then, of course, there's delay there. Of course, there's every single play. How can you play football like that? Everything's split-second decisions. How are you... look at that. How are you expected to play football? Everything's split-second decisions. So if you're delayed like this... I mean, whatever the hell happened there, that was interesting. It's crazy that this is what we have. Never is any of this brought up in goals. Never. No offense to this player, but oh my goodness. This is a player that couldn't play a game like goals, right? They need all this nonsense in there. And it's not their fault per se. That's just their level, let's just say, right? But it's crazy. He just dribbled right through it. Not through me, like he dribbled into me, like glitched through me, which is insane if you really think about it. Game out for 30 plus years and they still have that kind of thing going on. It's crazy. There's one thing with not having any attacking AI, right? Like goals is behind on their attacking AI, but when you can't react, everything's so delayed. I mean, dude, I don't know how their attacking AI is any better, and they're not in alpha stage. Players aren't doing jack shit. All the player roles and everything else are in the game, and Look at that. Who knows what just went on there, by the way. I mean, the players just freezing out, standing around. It's pretty insane if you think about it. Look at that. Hiding behind the player there next to you. I mean, there's no checking to the ball. You have to manually call every player too. Nice layoff, Henri. Such a bad player. Get in there. I can see that it's just everything's built on that delay. Just everything. This player is so bad. If I can't manage to figure out how to score on this dude, that's so bad. I mean, this is a very low-skilled player. And then they score on a corner kick. I don't know, man. I don't know how anybody could choose this over goals. All you guys playing this game are torturing yourselves. There's just no skill. Everything is on. Every single thing that goes on in this game has to do with every command you put in is 6-second delay. No joke even. I mean, you could see the players freezing up. You're looking at one of the worst. This is probably a 5-win player, maybe. And this is what you have to deal with non-stop in this game. This is the shit you have to deal with non-stop in this game. Oops. I did a little goals mistake there because I'm used to my player automatically being there. It's crazy what you have to deal with. But the delay, like when you see that defender moving up so late, I mean, think about that. If you look at that play and see, okay, when would he have really wanted to move his defender up? That's the delay you deal with. And you don't deal with that in goals. There's nobody saying, oh, you know what I mean? You shake that shit right out of you real quick because of their ingenious net code to where this nightmare that you deal with every time you turn on this shitty game, you don't have to deal with that anymore. So say what you want, but if this is the game that you guys want to play, you're going to have to deal with that. So then you're going to have to quit, and then you go into the next game and see if that you cross your fingers and hope you get good connection the next game and the next game. Nobody's going to watch that game right there and say, oh, dude, that was just a skilled player. He had no idea what he was doing. His finishing, everything was terrible. Everything that happened and that's every game in Champs, right? Your opponents, when you beat opponents, right? You don't know if you're really winning because of your skill or if they can't move. Half the time your opponent can't move and you're flying around the pitch. You know, I've shown it time and time again where I'll message my opponent like, you couldn't move, right? He's like, no, dude, I was screwed. And you can tell it because you're flying around, pass, and they can barely get a pass off. So you never know what you're facing. Now let me show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here. This is a pro tournament right here. I'd rather even just show you this and play. This is a pro, and you guys remember me showing all my tournaments, dude, all the 150 ping, but unlike goals where they have a net code to take care of, where it's still good connection, it was like you could barely even watch it. It was so bad. Now watch this. This is 2 European players where FC supposedly has plenty of servers and whatnot, right? So I want you to pay attention to this. This is Redlac versus... I'll show you Redlac versus Anders Verging, the #1 player in the world. Right? And this is what these guys deal with. So, Redlac, FC26. Just watch this gameplay. Okay? I broke this down for a video as well. But this is what you deal with.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter what level you play at, right? Like these are top of the level pros, right? Because remember, that's one of the things people would get mad about. It's like, bro, I'm showing all the things. It says congratulations, FC Pro qualifier, the blah blah blah, and then it's called like FC Pro Cup, or I can't change the name, right? So players would get mad. It's like, wait, you're not up on the stage with Anders Vergang. I'm okay. Exactly, but you don't go to Sheffield Wednesday and get mad at them because they're called pros too. Like, I didn't name it. FC could have named it FC Elite and then FC Pro. They named it all FC Pro. So the level that these guys play is far from what I was streaming and showing stuff, which most people with a brain knew. But some people would get mad. It's like they would see my email. They would see the name of the cup. It's all called FC Pro. You can't change it. They didn't call it like FC Elite qualifiers for FC Pro or this. They called it all FC Pro. But this level that these guys are playing at is the highest of the highest of the high. And I want you to watch this gameplay. Look at this horrid gameplay. And then look at these scores. Okay? So, obviously it's online, all the tournaments, until you get to the very, very, like, the grand finales. Okay? So this is PKs. Now watch this. I can go through randomly any match. Watch this game. Let me make sure I have the screen up before my dumbass goes. Yes. Watch this. This is the very highest level. This isn't just someone like me sitting in the middle of the United States playing. This is two European top pros, okay, that are eventually going to meet. This is him playing like a random European player, but it eventually gets there. Look at the slow motion on this gameplay. Look at the scores. Which is what I was saying with me and whoever just played, right? You have a player who hasn't played in months, and you have whatever level that dude was, which was terrible. I guarantee that's like a 5-6 win player I just played just there. But look at this. This is what these guys are playing. Look at the glitchiness. Look at the slow motion movement. Look at the scores. This is not football at all. Goals is 1,000 times better. So you're going to play this, what? Oh, because they have the tattoos of the real life players. And I can't even tell, like, if R9 was on that pitch there, I couldn't even point him out because it's so glitchy and, like, you can't see all the details. Look at this. Oh, where's Van Dijk? Where's Salah? Where's Mbappe? Where's, Zoboslai? You name any player in the world. Where's whoever? Klose? Where's Claudia Pina, the big broken... You can't even tell from the camera angle anyway. It's about the actual football, right? You couldn't name any player unless you saw their names above there, right? And we're watching, like, just if you're from your perspective of just watching football, this is garbage. This is dog trash. Everything's slow motion. Everything's slow motion. Players can't move. Look at this. Everything's glitchy. You can see the connection issues. And not to mention every single score is insanity. Oh my God, I couldn't. There's no way. And this is the meta. This is pros playing for, like, qualifying for money and stuff like that. So this is the highest level. That's the insane part. Keep looking at the scores every single time. Keep looking at these scores. You cannot tell me that this game is anywhere near goals. It just is not. It's nowhere near goals. Ah, that's hilarious. It's just hilarious. The trash in this game is so funny. Look at the glitchiness. So you see, this isn't just, oh, maybe it's your connection. This is every single player. Now look, this is Vergang. Okay, I'm going to show you this whole game so you guys can, the whole highlights at least. Now I want you guys to watch. This is over 2 legs, I believe. Of course, they all got Claudia Pena. It's always mirror matches. Watch this. So you see Vergang in the corner playing in Denmark. Or no, he's pro whatever team he's on now. I don't know what country he's in playing, and then you got Red Lack playing in Wales. Oh, DK, whatever. Yeah. Then he is from Denmark, but he's not playing in Denmark though. And then I don't know. I guess Red Lack is in Wales right now. So either way, they have plenty of servers over there. And just watch the score, watch the glitchiness of this shit. Because I know some people might say, well, it might be your connection or it might be your location in the middle of the U.S. No, dude, it's everywhere in the world. These games have the worst connection issues you'd ever seen. These are players that are playing to play for a ton of money. This is their living. And they have to play through this garbage. Imagine, do you know how many times I guarantee that the glitchiness and the shitty connection has costed players? Without a doubt. Without a doubt. You can literally see the what do you call that? The glitchiness. I do like the animations on the PKs though. Good job. Look at these scores every time. Is that what you want to play? That's what you guys call football? Give me a break, dude. That is horrendous. But okay, so let's say we know that. I think that's clear how bad that is, right? You see that. The connection's always... So that's FC. Okay, so then there's going to be players that say, what about... I think eFootball's automatically disqualified. There is no weekend events there. There is no, you get bored of playing. There's no menu grind or nothing. And then when you do play the game, you have a 50-50 chance on if you play someone with Smart Assist or not. I don't think you can honestly say that this game is anywhere near worth talking about when it comes to football right now. If they get rid of Smart Assist, right, then they could be in the conversations if they get rid of Smart Assist. But then they still got to find a defensive system that's not AI ran. All of their shots and like the different skills, Showtime skills, it's all AI ran. It's not just Smart Assist. This game has so many mistakes they've made that they'd have to undig themselves from that I almost think that you can't even put it in the mix. And then, of course, I got a decent amount of following from UFL. If you guys follow my channel, you'll see them pop in. There's still people using my old tactics videos. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that they come in and let me know that they're working really well for them. But these guys are making a big mistake playing this game over goals. And I'm about to go into that and show you that. So this is another game. I'm in the Premier Division, the top division. I showed you guys like the issues within the game, right? I've showed you guys the dead end system where I have one of the best teams, right? Well, now that everyone's got teams full of these players, 94 rated. So what you're going to have is the players who want to spend no money, they're just screwed because then they get players like this, okay? This is the Mbappe. No ability to link. They can't even link. No ability perks, which are like the play style, equivalent to play styles, but in UFL. And the play styles in here, the ability perks, are so overpowered. So these players have none of that and no ability to link, which can give you up to +7 in like 6 categories. So they make it to where you got to spend your money to get the players, or you're going to be way behind. Even worse than eFootball, which is pretty blatantly bad because the free players are so much worse than the players you get when you pay. But then the problem is, once you pay and get players, they now have released 94 rated players from this Supreme Team thing. This is one of the worst one. Every one of those players is several points over these legends. So you're going to, every few weeks, get a new legend until you get a team full of legends for $15 a legend. You do the math. Or you put hundreds and hundreds of dollars in. Maybe it even touches the thousands now like eFootball does. My eFootball team took me about $1,300 to make. This team took me about $300 to make, and I still would need to severely upgrade it to catch up to like the Supreme Team. But they're eventually going to have either teams full of these icons, or they're going to have teams full of those supreme players as they come and whatnot. It's the dumbest thing in the world. You had players that literally went in and put a couple hundred in to get a team full of these. Nobody's going to catch up to them. There's not going to be promos for several, who knows how long. Or if you try to top it right now, you're going to get players that are just maxed out. And you already hit a dead-end system with your skins. What, are you going to hit another dead-end system when everybody has all the icons they don't need anymore? Or all the Supreme Team, they don't need anybody else. Right? So you have a dead-end game with that. They don't have retirement and all that, which is ingenious from goals. But even if they did, what are you going to do? You can't do that. What are you going to do? Retire Del Piero to release another Del Piero? You're going to retire this Mbappe to release another Mbappe? Right? Only Goals has the ability to have the system that they do, which is a breath of fresh air. And it's a never-ending cycle because your players retire and you got to replace them, just like in real football. Or you might sell a player and then they still eventually retire. It's a beautiful thing, guys. Like, people don't understand. The connection in that alone keeps the game feeling fresh, keeps Goals feeling fresh. The connection in that alone. You don't even have to get into the other part of it, right? Let's see. Enter with tokens. Boom. So we'll get into a game real quick. You don't even have to dive into anything further than that, and you already are sold for a lot of players just because of the consistent gameplay and goals. But then you got the dead-end systems, the boring, same thing every year, repetitive nonsense in FC where you got to get the broken players or the broken body type or accelerate type, play that broken formation with the same player roles. If you don't, you're at a disadvantage. It's just not football. And then you see the scores are crazy, right? These games just don't make sense. And in UFL, with the glitches, especially at the highest level, it just makes the game pointless. So this is the team we're going up against. You're starting to see a similar pattern where the mirror matches are coming up because if you put money in, everyone's going after the same players, right? When you see this goofy run that I'm doing right here, right, I'm holding R1 and R2 and zigzagging. So what it does is it gives every player this unfair like sprint boost that makes them way higher than any defender can go pace-wise, right? And so it's very hard to tackle when you do that. Then the way you defend, right, because everyone can just zigzag and the defenders aren't well equipped, the way you have to defend is you have to trust in your AI, because if you don't, I can just do this all day long, right? He blocked it there because remember, I'm rusty as hell. I could do that all day long. So you have to count on your AI like I'm doing here, and then get back, and then try to sneak up on the player with the other player, right? So I do it here. It's not actual football where you're defending, where you're playing. It just isn't. And then you look for the glitch through balls to where it will freeze up. You see I just ran through them there. And that's what you do. All I did was play a through ball. And that wasn't even the glitch one either. But I played a through ball and pressed forward. And Holland just ran through. He glitched through. Let's watch this. Look. Welcome to UFL. That's UFL. Running through defenders. Holding R1 and R2, a glitch sprint that shouldn't even exist. Using your AI to make sure you win the ball like this. Like you'll see here. I was about to say that was a good goal until the shot. Which was hilarious. Look at this. Look at this shot. Of course he doesn't watch it because it's piss poor. But that's UFL for you. That's UFL. Kicking into me and then we run into each other over and over. Run in circles. It's just not football. Oh my goodness. The connection issues are terrible. This game almost feels worse than FC now too. Just a pure frustration of this and losing to players over this. You never have that issue there. Like you might have the lofted through balls and stuff, but that's why I'm so positive about goals is because at least there's something you can do about this stuff, right? There's nothing you can do about this nonsense, the connection issues, or someone using the R1, R2 glitch. There's no answers. So I get that these games are bad, so saying goals is better. It's not like you don't want that to be the mission. Like, just be better than these trash games. Being better than trash isn't saying much, right? But I'm just more grateful that we actually have a pure football game with great connection, right? Where you still have to get out and win the ball, and where it's limited AI, animations, all that. It's just like, it's still a breath of fresh air. So then it's like, I have faith that going down this path, these devs can do well with whatever they decide, right? It's just not even football defense, you know? It's just not even football defense at all. Whatever that was, who knows? Balls running all over the place. How could anybody say this is good? There's no way you could watch this over the fluidity of goals, the great connection, and then say, like, this is what you'd want to waste your time doing. This is insanity. Why, here's the zigzags. Oh my goodness. And this isn't being mean, this is being honest. I mean, you guys are watching for yourselves, so let's see if the old flick on still works. So he had he paid the money, so he has that ability perk to get up and win those headers. If you don't pay the money though and your player doesn't have that, you can do this flick on where once you flick it on, your player essentially can get an open shot. Don't ask me what happened there. Good old tackle back. Or bounce. Sorry, that wasn't a tackle back. That was a bounce back. Dear goodness. There's no way people are watching this going, yeah, dude, this is the game right here, dude. Or FC with all the freaking, the glitchiness. Every game's decided by, you know, connection rather than actual skill. 7 to 10 games. eFootball, same thing, playing on 2-bar connection. And then Smart Assist deciding every game. It's just like, when I'm so positive about goals, it's not very hard to see. The only players who may not see it are the ones who look at the art and want a more realistic look, so that they judge it by its cover. Like, oh, well, because it's got more cartoon-looking artwork, it must be a kids/arcade game. And they think of it along the lines of like an NBA Jam. And that's their fault. It doesn't take very long to do actual research and see that that is the most in-depth football game, and it's still only an alpha. Still only an alpha. Still the most in-depth game. Look, let's see if I can get this through. If not, you just kind of run into the player. That's all you do is you just stand there, you press your, you let your AI defend, and then that's it. See what I'm saying? You just hold your AI down, and you run in the other direction. That's it. And by the way, I know there's AI assistance right now in goals, and like the way they have to stop the, he tried the glitch through ball. That's hilarious. That was that angle that you do the glitch through ball. That's what these losers go for in these games that suck. And you notice how when you play goals outside of that misunderstanding where I thought like those players in goals were a bunch of bullies, right? Notice that you never have these types of things, or if you do, those players typically get whooped. They typically get whooped. Or at least you have something, a way to deal with them. Look at that automatic pass connection. Look at it. Your player automatically runs and gets the ball. R1, R2 is what I'm holding down right now. Playing bumper cars, hoping to run through. Oh, of course. Terrible, terrible decisions. But that's... Welcome to UFL, guys. There's no way in hell. Look, that's the R1, R2 for you. I don't know why my player just stopped other than the connection. I mean, you guys are seeing this firsthand. I have the... You see the controller. I didn't take my fingers off of it. Look at this. Who knows what's going on there? Trying to play that glitch through ball so you guys can see what I mean. Once you guys see that once, it will make you quit the game. Look, that was delay right there. That was delay right there too, back and forth. Look, he's trying to play the glitch through ball over and over too. It's just a bunch of losers playing this game, bro. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. Nice goalkeeper movement. You got to love this game for that. But yeah, look it. So he did the little backwards maneuver. Remember the old FC? Look. Remember the old FC move like that where if you moved your goalie back, they would save any shot? But you'd have to move him in the actual goal in FC. You wouldn't try to move left or right. You would just push your goalie back into the goal. There's no way anybody with any type of skill is playing UFL. And really eFootball too with the Smart Assist. Because even if you're playing, you're still battling. You're not even playing true one-on-one. You're playing the computer all the time. Right? There's nobody that's looking at this type of game with these type of goals and this type of shit and going, oh yeah, man, this is football. Look at that. I couldn't even pass it. I was delayed. And this one has overlays on that you can see that too. Remember the first goal too. Look, he can only go for the glitch through ball. That's all he knows how to go for. But it just cost him. Look at, he forced the glitch. Oh, it won't show you all the way back there. See, they need... So hey, let's take one thing from UFL. See how the goalie kind of dove at the ball at my feet? Goals, you got to add that. The goalies can't be stopping at the attacker's feet. The goalies cannot be stopping. When you charge them out, they're going to make a play on the ball. They're not just going to stop there at the feet. They got to add that to where the keepers will do that. Oh, no reaction at all? Look at. Overtime, I believe. Overtime and then penalty kicks, I think. They just changed that. It used to be a tie means nothing in the weekend thing, which is crazy. This is called Showdown. This is their weekend. I hope Goals has. I know they will. They're going to have... I know they have something called Knockout coming, but I think that's an everyday thing, or I don't know if that's a weekend thing. It could be. Whatever theirs is called, I can't wait to see what it is. Because you have actual football gamers over there on the development team. Actual connection to... like they know what football gamers want. So the fact that eFootball doesn't have a clue is hilarious. Look, all you have to do is press X and the ball auto connects. There is no winning a pass. He went for the glitch. He goes for the glitch ball every time, which is hilarious. I'm trying to just rat him out because he's a rat right back. But most everybody is who's playing UFL right now. They're not trying to beat you off of skill. They're trying, like, if you see the balls and you're wondering, like, why is he going for those certain balls? It's literally a thing that it's easily the worst football game for sure, Slobo. Easily, this is easily. It had potential at one point, and then they just shit on everything they had going. But the defenders will literally freeze. That's what people don't get. Like, the defenders literally will freeze up on certain balls. This player just sucks too bad to play right, and I don't really even know how. Like, I've never done it. No one was going to sit there and watch me play UFL while I glitched the whole time. So you see what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's why I'm saying that's where I play goals, bro. It's just way more fun. Every single game in goals is fun, bro. It's your decisions. It's football. Like when people say, "Why are you making those videos I've never seen you so positive about a game, blah blah blah." Dude, it's because it's a good freaking game. It's a good freaking game. Goals is easily the only good football game out right now. It is the best, and it's in alpha. Even with the work it needs, you play every game with great connection, and you play football. And yes, there are certain things, but that's in alpha. They release it in alpha for that reason, so you could stress test the game, right? So you could show them, okay, crosses need to be balanced. Crosses need to be balanced, and then lofted through balls need to be balanced, right? 100%. Look at this. Look, glitched it. That was the glitched through ball, guys. His defenders couldn't do anything about it. If I played that a little further out, I could have scored there. That was the glitched through ball. Notice his defenders just let my attacker run through and get it. He couldn't do nothing. That's what he's been trying to play against me. So I got the first one. Look, he just did it against me right back, and he won the game with it on a glitched through ball. I'm kind of glad he did it that way. So my defender went in behind. Look, that's a glitch, guys. He was automatically going to get that ball. Oh, they don't do golden goal. That's hilarious. So how, like, unless you're just a no-skill player, you could not be playing this game, right? There's no way that you would just be sitting there trying. Look at the glitch through ball. The glitch through ball, guys. Notice how my goalie barely picked it up. If his striker was anywhere near that, he would have ran that in. He would have ran that in. And that's what you do. You just play glitches back and forth. Look, he just did it again. Look, see? See? I'm so glad he showed it. Look. Like, these are total losers. That's what my point is. Like, when I go against rats, this is who I call out because they ruin the games on, like, for fun. Like, that's what they consider fun. Like, these guys are like, yes, a glitch win. So those are glitch balls. Notice my keeper would not react. So that's my point. Whenever I'm going after players, that's who I'm going after, is these types of losers. So hear me out. Everybody with skill is going to end up at goals because it's the only game where you don't have J-Hoot 11s. And if J-Hoot 11 were to come to goals, he would be toast because he could try to spam crosses, which this loser totally would, right? He could try to spam crosses, or he could try to spam lofted through balls, but there is nothing in goals. I can at least switch to my center back, and a loser like J-Hoot is so bad that I could still beat him out on the other end, whereas in UFL, you can't. The game is so glitchy. The connection is so bad now. They shut down servers already in several different places that you literally cannot answer back to these losers. So for every J-Hoot 11 that there is in goals, there's 100 more skilled players in goals. And there's very few because it's an alpha. In UFL and FC, for every one skilled player there's 100 J-Hoots in UFL. No skilled players that are taking advantage of connection issues, that are just going for that, the glitches, the whole game. I mean, these are actual losers, guys, because when people wonder why I go so hard on people. Because remember, when I came into goals, I got the message from the dudes like, these guys are bullies, these guys are terrible. That's like the false impression that I have, but you got to understand, I'm used to seeing that type of rat loser in these other games. And you can't come up with any other way to describe these types of players in these other games, because think about it. Name a winner, and I talked to Brad about this, and he's like, yeah, no one can stand those type of people. Name a winner that sits there and is terrible at something but finds a way to cheat because they don't want to put in the time and they have no skill. So if you're J-Hood11, whatever you are, and you're like, okay, I could try to learn how to pass and move in this, but no, you're like, okay, this is broken, they don't remove it, and I'm using that. And strikers must know this because it's been months and months and months they don't get rid of this. You don't see that in goals, right? Even in the 5v5 final, you could see the skill, but if that Famalicão weren't doing the crosses, which are very overpowered right now in goals, then Relax FC wouldn't have done the crosses. If Famalicão didn't do any lob through balls, Relax FC wouldn't have, because they're skilled players that are competing, and they're competing for money. That J-Hood11 never made a cent in his life playing these games. They have losers like that all over these other games that are sitting there to break these games. So when you see all that time calling out those games, calling out those certain rat players, which there's just so many in UFL, it's like you got to damn near call out every player. We don't have to do that anymore in goals. We don't have to do that. And that's why it was so, like, when I was talking about the lob through balls, you got to think, I'm coming from games like UFL and FC, like the counter through ball metas and all this. So, like, the fact that I could even have my chance at switching to my CB to stop it, it was a low bar, but it's like, oh, cool. I can at least, there's no glitches in this game where it's like, oh, that's in, if he plays a pass at this angle, my whole defense is going to stop and he can run through on a breakaway. That's insanity, guys. It's insane that that's a glitch that's not fixed like that. That glitch has been in the game for months and months and months, guys. Same with the R1, R2. So the fact that it's still in the game, and the fact that there's losers, J-Hood11, and again, I always say this when I'm talking about these rats, they're just a microcosm. That's one of many. J-Hood11 is just the latest name on the board of many. So it's not just him, or it could be a her. It's just that player represents what you play every game. So why would you play that game when it attracts those players? That's what those games are built. They attract those players. When you play goals, your opponents are coming to goals because there is none of that shit. The goals devs understand that too. And so they're going to balance out crosses to where when you cross it, you're going to have to be open to win a header. They're going to 100% guarantee that they get it to where the defenders are more, when you mark a cross, are going to win the headers. The opponent just won't like run through you and score. For the lofted through balls, they're going to make it to where those through balls hang up in the air more. Or if there's a lofted through ball, right, unless it's totally just that player's wide open, they're going to like, what do you call that? Nerf it or balance it to the point where you can't just trigger your forward, it locks onto them, and sometimes even when the defender's marking it, you can just run through it and go. That's where the problem is players can send these Hail Marys and still have a good chance to score, right? They have to balance it out to where you can play football and press, but yeah, if you don't mark that lob through ball and they're wide open, of course they'll run through, but if you have a defender right there and the defensive and attacking AI is improved, they can make it to where the velocity slows down or whatever, something to where they bounce. There's no doubt, guys. There's no doubt. They can make it where the goalkeepers don't rush out and then stop, which gives the attacker the chance to take even an extra touch, which the goalie would have got on the ball. You have to be smarter as an attacker. In goals, you can take a touch right up to the goalie and hit it around him. So I don't like that. The shield dribbling, they got to fix that. I believe that's a little too overpowered. When you're not at the right angle, sometimes you can still shield a player off. But all these things are fixable, and they're all to be expected in a alpha, right? So let's go look here. I wanted to show you this by the numbers real quick. How long do we got till the rewards, by the way? It's 2 a.m. or something like that, isn't it? 6 hours from now. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. All right. So let me go in here. Yeah, that's true. The latest update, literally, they only introduced new cards, new legend, new season pass, no changes to the broken gameplay. UFL is desperate and they're not trying to hide it. Just look at all the overpowered. I know. So that they're entering a dead end system. That's my point. And it's 100% obvious, dude, because they just hit a dead end with their skins, right? They just hit a dead end with their skins. Did I sign up for this newsletter? Yeah, I did already. They just hit a dead end with their skin system. They gave a new dead end, and now they got 94 rated cards. Well, there's no yearly reset where they take your cards, so what's going to happen? In my opinion, that game's on its way out. They're at the recoup stage or the fire sale stage. Because now you have this year. What are they going to do for promos? Who's going to... The people who have spent their money... Look at the depth of this. I'm about to show you. Sorry, I'm 35th right now. Okay? So I'm 35th, so I can click into my team. I have every match I've ever played that I can go back and look at all the detailed stats. Okay, here's my team. This is my squad. Every match I've played, I can go back, not only look at the history, but look at everything. Where I scored goals, the history versus this player. So I had a closer game against them, beat them 5-4, then beat them 5-1. I can look at the match events, who scored when they scored. I can look at the analytics, the shots, where I scored at, where they shot, where they scored at, right? I can literally look at, I wanted to show you guys this too. This is ridiculously awesome. You can go down, you can see what kind of shot was taken and the percentage chance of scoring, guys. Look, finesse shot, normal shot, right? Your team, your opponent's team, whether they scored or missed, their chance of, their expectancy to score that goal. So look, I got a goal in the 16th minute that was only 19.8%, so 20% chance of scoring. But then I missed one that had a 61% chance of scoring. And then it shows you the power level the shot was taken. I mean, you can do this for every game you ever played. They literally have the best stat guy in the game. Like when that video, shout out to Marceau for getting the footage to make it possible, but he toured the goals headquarters. And then you had these guys, and the guy's like, I'm literally in charge of counting things. But you got to understand how tough that is. This guy went in depth to make sure that everything is counted. Every single thing. And so you can look at all these stats. Your top ratings of your and your opponent's players. The expected goals, expected assists, goals. Minutes played, obviously, the shots on target. The key passes. You can see every game, the key passes your players made, the completed passes they made, the aerial duels won, the tackles won, the interceptions. Guys, this is the real deal. This is the real deal. Everything's kept so you can analyze your performance. And not only that, that's not even the best part. When I go back to these rankings, okay, and this is only alpha too. Think of it, they're going to add the heat map. They're going to add so much cool stuff to this. You can go to the best players in the world, any player really, any top 500 player, or your own stuff if you're not top 500. You can go in and see not only their results, but you can see their players. Okay, so I know for a fact, so this one, look it. So now look, some of these stats aren't exact right here. So like Marquis play mini, they got to fix that for full release, but they will. But what you can see is goals per 90, 1.35, expected goals per 90, 0.79, which is good. But look at his strongest player is this 82. Now, who knows if he played different formations along the way. Maybe this Sotelo was a striker before. You can see elite pace, dribbling defense, the exact card stats. Not the best shooting, great shot power, long shots not, 99 weak foot. But look here, you see 364 matches, 251 goals, right? So you get to see kind of which player. So this player is easily the most prominent in his entire squad. This center mid has a lot of assists as well for him. 90 assists, 405 matches played. You can see all the details where these players are, where their best players are on the pitch as far as how they perform, what formation they're using. Like the 4-3-3 is the most popular. That's why I'm using it. I honestly like the 3-5-2 better, but I do see where the 4-3-3 is useful. And this is with limited everything. It's alpha, guys. They have all these details. There's no game that is this in depth. Then you add in the fact that the net code makes it so every game has perfect connection, right? You add in the net code, then you add in the fact that there's nothing just totally broken. There's no glitches that make it to where your opponents can just there's no glitches to make it where your opponents can just play a through ball and your defense locks up, or holding certain buttons that make it to where you can't be tackled, or it's very hard, like I guess you want to say shield dribbling, but that's still stoppable, guys. Right? Crosses, they're still stoppable. They're not just totally broken where a player's just going to cross score and just beat you. You still have ways to at least stop it. Now, they still need to nerf it and balance this stuff, and of course. But it's not anything like UFL or even FC, dude. FC, we've all played those games where we cannot move. It doesn't matter how good you play, you cannot move because the connection's so bad. We've all played those games like the Inception versus Nick Runs the Foot Market, where Inception destroys them, but FC being FC, he loses 2-0 on some crazy nonsense. Nick played some glitch ball through his player, and guys, I mean, this isn't me just making this up. Goals is the best game. So if you're someone that looks at it and go, oh, nope, cartoons, not playing, that's on you. With all due respect, you sound kind of dumb. You got to admit. If the football's great, the detail's there, it's all skill-based, there's none of this bullshit, you don't got to worry about bad connection, and you're worried about cartoon players that you can't even see when you're playing the game, and you're not looking at the sweat on the player's face or the detail in Mbappe's player card or the tattoos on his fucking leg. Come on, dude. Give me a break. You're playing football. It's the bottom line. And there's no other football game that comes close. So anybody who's like, oh, paid promotion, how much did they pay you? All this shit, right? You guys just aren't looking at the details. You're choosing to play some rat trash game with JHoot11, who doesn't know shit about football, and he's winning games in UFL because he can play a ball that glitches out the opponent's team. That's the games you're choosing to play. So, 1 second. All right. So this is a squad. So right now, obviously, again, just like I gave the benefit of the doubt to UFL. Goals has some stuff to change. We've already established that. They have some stuff to sharpen up on the pitch. Off the pitch with modes, it's the alpha mode, guys. So right now, I'm maxed out on my rewards in ranked, right? So you see here, that's my progress towards Division 1. There's my reward. So as you go, you get XP. These are all the packs I'm going to get in several hours, which is great. The problem is, the only thing to do then in the meantime is to level up my team, which I got some beasts over here that I want to level up. And I love this part of it. You get these players, there's a timer in the game, so they age accordingly. You start playing, they age. They retire at 34. I'd actually even like to see a stat drop off that that happens as they age up. I think that would be cool to add. And then, of course, as you get beasts, as players near retirement, you got to start looking at replacements, just like real football. So I love that aspect. There's random upgrades, so just consider that similar to the player development, right? You never know how players are going to develop. So I have these players on the bench, but eventually, like you see the Lightning in the 2, they end up upgrading. This player's upgraded 5 times. He still has 2 more. So maybe he ends up being a decent player, maybe not. It's not looking very promising. But I like to experiment and see where these players go. Some of these players, this Keo card and this Angle, both started as rares, and then they had some beast upgrades up to epics. This one, Angle, started off as like a, what is it? It's basic, common, uncommon, as a basic or common. Okay, which is this one down here. This is basic, and then this is common. Then, of course, you have the greens are uncommon. Then you have the blues are rare. And, of course, you have the purples are epic. The orange is legendary. And none of us have one of these, but the mythics are above legendary, and they're gold. Amazing system. Amazing way to do it. The upgrades, everything, guys. You can't beat this shit. So now, because it's alpha, there isn't other modes to play, but what you can do is play the tournaments on repeat. So you go into the tournaments, you see the different rewards. The one-on-ones get you the most. It's 100k XP, 4,000 points in an uncommon pack of, I think it's 5 cards. Then you see the restrictions. Overall max 80, no legendaries or higher, which means I have to take out these 2 cards, which is no problem. Then you get a low-rated goalie. And unfortunately, like right now, because it is beta, right? It's beta, not even beta, it's alpha. This is what you do. You play ranked or this. And then once the reward's set, then you can go back into ranked. So yeah, right now, if this was full release, it would be seriously lacking in modes. But it's still easily the most fun football game. Without a doubt, no questions asked, the best football game. By far. Alright, so I have to keep my rankings going down for my team here. So we got that one. Let's see about Holroyd over here. Boom. Bring one more card down. Need him to go. There. Boom. Alright, so nothing there. Boom, boom. So we're good in the front 3. Alright, I'm good with this. And then you play. It's simple as that. But when I'm playing this, I want you to pay attention to the actual football being played. I want you to pay attention to the connection, the lack of glitches. Even if I play a through ball spammer or a cross spammer, I want you to pay attention that I have stuff to deal with it, right? One sec. All right, let's get into it. And the funny thing is, too, another thing that I wanted to add, besides all the death, besides the great connection, the great community of players, right? Whenever you see the states of these games, I wanted to show you guys this. Nick did a great video talking about this, and this is what you see over and over, right? Now, I get why Nick would keep playing. I don't get why he's playing eFootball in the meantime with all the smart assists and shit. But whatever, that's his choice. However, this Evo is destroying FC26. EA broke the game. Like, there's just so much shit that is messed up, right? And I'm not saying that could be like a clickbait title, but Nick did a great video nonetheless, talking about how EA recognized that playstyles were ruining the game and said, no, it's more about the football, more about players. We're reverting. Playstyles can be a boost, but they're not going to make or break the player. Sure enough, if you don't have tiki-taka, you can't pass. If you don't have rapid, your certain players are stuck in the mud. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have anticipate. Like, there's certain playstyles every single year, and EA just always lies over and over. Strikers lies over and over. Let's look at this. All right, let's play. Yeah, so see, so the ping right now is 160. The server is in Brazil. Who knows where my opponent's located? But with 160 ping, like if you had this in any other football game, it would be unplayable, right? Others in minor little, like what you would call, oh no, and then see time wasting. That's considered time wasting, so he gets a free kick at midfield. Like, dude, there's just so many things in this game that are so much better, dude. So much better. Everything is your decision. Manual tackles, manual movements, no delay. I mean, you cannot beat this stuff, boys. You cannot beat this, right? It's everything is on you. You can tie it back. And look, I know that the game's not like there's players that aren't happy with several things being alpha. But if you're looking at this coming from those other trash games that you just saw perfect examples of, I showed you other people streaming them. Oh, I might be able to score this. I want them to change this too. Oh, I want them to change that too and make it more like eFootball, because I feel like eFootball has very realistic, like, which, crazy enough, it's all on you. Like you have to learn the different players, learn the curl, how to power up each shot. So it's a skill gap, right? With all the other bullshit that they made into nonsense, they did great on the free kicks and corners, to be fair. So I'd love to see goals because it just fits their game better. Whereas I don't mind like the pulse and like the way they do it. It would be way cooler to have like eFootball's type and give each different kick taker a different profile. Like you might take a straight on knuckleball type approach like a CR7. You might take more of a Roberto Carlos like Trivela free kick approach. You might do a Messi more placement, right? Bender and placement. Like it all depends on the player, and you have to master the player, how much to curl, the right way to shoot it, the right power, and each player is different. That would be cool. But there's nothing that I can do to just glitch. So this is something that's powerful. I'm holding the shield button, right? And my opponent got ran around. But when you're shielding the ball like that, the opponent has to come at you from an angle in front, like how I did there, to win the ball. And many times they don't. It's just a lack of skill there. So he's following me because he doesn't know how to handle it. Like if I could talk to this player, I'd just say, yes, they have to work on like the animation showing, because it didn't. See how you can see I'm shielding there, but right here you can't. When I'm shielding and dribbling, see? So they missed the tackles. So see, he got in front of the ball there. So that's what I thought at the beginning was like a connection issue or glitches and stuff, because you see the 160 ping and you're like, maybe that's the game. It's not. It's just shield dribbling. But you come from these other games and it poisons your mind. Similar to that, it's literally like funny. It's like the dude who messaged me and told me that all these guys were bullies and this and that, and he ends up being a racist, lying piece of shit that was a bully himself. It's like those other games are that guy, and goals is the game that's being misunderstood because people are looking at whether it's the graphics or just the other football games have poisoned their minds, so they don't trust the developers. They see certain things and tie it to other games, and it's like, bro, this game's as true to football as it gets. Like that was just poor defense from my opponent. And how you know this is because he can't do that to me. He could try. There's limits to the players that you can bring, so it's not like I'm out teaming him. Look, he can try to dribble my whole team. He's not going to be able to do it. I'll give him the ball and he can foul. It comes down to skill. It comes down to your ability and putting it on the pitch. There is no AI to help. There is no animations. It's your skill, your football. Nobody can argue that. Nobody. Right? That's something else I want them to add to. I have a video coming out about this, like the current version, and like worst case scenario, if they release it right now, this would be the biggest issues, but also how to deal with those. And one of them isn't, they do good on the dribbling with the stumble. Like if you make a tackle on a player, that player stumbles. They do good on the interceptions where it doesn't bounce off the player. So goals devs did good, but what they need to do is cool down them, because immediately when I lose the ball, I can choose another player if my player on the dribble gets it tackled away and stumbles. I can choose another player, or on the interceptions, keep my forward motion and essentially run back in and win the ball back too quickly. They need to make like a 2-second cooldown, which FC has this somewhat, and so does eFootball. And it works way better to where, let's say I steal this, like I'll show you. All right, so I stole it. So for 1, 2, he shouldn't be able to win the ball back. Like, it worked out there. Then you have equal stoppage time. I love that as well, so I know the time's ending. He fouled me there, so I couldn't play that long ball. Smart foul, actually. If I get it above the line, boom, the time stops. And then I score a goal from it, and with 1 second left. But it's equal no matter what. My opponent knows exactly how much time's left. Right? And either he could score or I could score, or nobody. But, and then he quits. So all these things are your skill, guys. It's plain and simple. It's all your skill. These other football games have nothing. I could show you over and over. You could go look up gameplay over and over. So 1 second. All right, let's look at this. I want to show you this Nick video, this Nick FC26. You just put in FC26 rant, and it pops up. 3 days ago, here we go. I don't know why these aren't coming up in order for his videos. It's weird. But check this video out. Imagine playing a game where this is the case, guys. And every year it's the same thing with this shit. It's never ending. Goals has none of these problems. So when I'm saying all these good things about the game, it literally comes down to just me recognizing.
It's a complete dino, especially after starting it, and especially that EA is giving.
Recognizing these issues. I've been playing these games all my life. I've been playing competitively since 22, and it just is the same thing on repeat. UFL just went down a disastrous path. Goals so far has gone down a great path. I love the mentality of, hey, we're not just looking to make it better than these shit games, because that's not saying much. But there are players that are taking a little too far with the negativity. I will say that. There's some players that aren't doing so well in the game, maybe, or whatever it is. Damn near starting to think they're sent over to like sabotage the community with negativity, I swear. Because it's like, you see all these other football games, this is an alpha, and you're saying, delete the game, it's terrible, defending, this is terrible, this is terrible. It's like, bro, it's shielding. The shielding's causing you to miss tackles. You have to learn how to get around it. So my next video explains the ways like to deal with some of these harder things right now. But even worst case, if that was it, there's ways to deal with them at least. Not the best ways. You don't want the game to stay there. But even if the goals devs said, screw all those, we love lofted through balls how they are, and this how they are, and shield dribbling, and no shoulder challenge for defenders. We love this. We're keeping it. We're not going to add in more player roles. And like, let's just say, worst case, the game is what it is. It's still a better game than the other ones. But best case, they're competent. They make these changes, and we have the best game ever. Not just by default because the other games suck, but because it's a great freaking game. And you don't got to deal with shit like this.
I use Ryton at left mid. Let's see the other left mids that I use. And recently, it's just anyone else bit at left mid. But really, we use him up top. We mainly use him up top. But what does Rashford have? He has 83 passing, but he has pinged pass, right? So
listen to
when
this.
I get the ball into him, I know to use the driven pass because he's going to do it really well on both feet with the 4-star weak foot. And let's look at Ryton. What does Ryton have, guys? Ryton has incisive with 87 passing. So she has at least one passing trait. And we're at the point now where most people with Evos, if we go back to my Evo squad, right? Most people with Evos at this point in the game have Evos in that position. I don't use Nair as a left mid, but like, let's just say generally the people that are building Evos have Evos that have a lot of passing traits. You know, using Pogba center mid. Center mids, most people at this point in the game have, you know, total passing traits on all their center mates. It wouldn't matter. So, let's go back to the main team. And you guys are going to see the point that I'm making. It's not about Dino. Just stick with me for a minute, right? Even you look at my recent right mid Evo that I've done, and guys, guess who it is, right? I didn't really have a good... I don't think this is my team, is it? Oh, no, I guess I was using this for, like, the Golden Gold Cup, right? Who is the recent right mid that I've been loving? Well, I liked Di Maria for a while because he had incisive at right mid and 88 passing, so he had that one passing trait. Well, we just did a Messi Evo. He's got Tiki Taka Plus with 85 passing and incisive. He's got 2 passing traits, 1 gold, right? So here's why I'm ranting. And look at my cam. So you look at Dino as well for the cam position. Incisive, Tiki Taka, he has 2 out of 3. Most of these players that I'm using in my teams will at least have the passing traits. Strikers can get away with it a little bit more still, but still it's.
So I want to go back and listen to this again, okay?
Using in my teams will at least have the passing traits. Strikers can get away with it a little bit more still, but still it's it's the reason why everybody has Claudia Pina fever this year, right? And why do they have that? Because she's one of the players in this game in the striker position that has amazing movement and amazing passing. She has, I believe, Tiki Taka and incisive with a 5-star weak foot and 85 passing. So the stats these days to me just don't matter much. And that's why I'm disappointed, and I'm going to explain to you guys why. Okay, so there's been a new leak today.
So, before we get further into this, there's so many different reasons why these other games are terrible, and I've been pointing those out. I'm not just high on goals because I just chose, hey, out of all these games, let's be nice to goals. There's a reason for it. The goals devs have gone their own way. They went off the beaten path of dog crap football games. A game like UFL comes along, they see that eFootball and FC are trash, and what do? Decide to be a almost carbon copy of FC. After starting promising, they went down the same path that led FC to being terrible right now. And being a sucker at the beginning of the year, I let EA Sports trick me one last time and believe that they actually learned from their mistakes after the worst game in franchise history with a lot of bad games already. They topped it all off with the worst ever in 25 and said, oh, we fixed this and this and this. And one of the biggest issues among many is the fact that the players in the game that you're using, your tools, right, are not based on their actual footballing abilities. Everything about these players that matters is playstyle related or body type related or accelerate related. It's not the actual footballer and their skills. So you're not looking, for instance, with goals that, even though it's an alpha, not all the attributes tie into the game like they're going to, they still have the science behind it down. Every single stat in goals is explained and how it translates to the pitch. Therefore, every player you get, even though they're made up players and you don't have like the Gareth Bales or Claudia Pinas or R9s or whatever, you still have actual footballers where you look at their stats and you can tell the player's strengths and weaknesses and how they're going to perform based on those stats. That is extremely important because that is football. All this other garbage with the accelerate, the body types, and the play styles and stuff, that adds nonsense that is unrealistic and it takes away from the game. So, in a game like FC, and UFL followed suit, and so did eFootball with their Showtime skills, and UFL their call ability perks, but they're all the same thing. They're all playstyles and playstyle pluses. FC did it even worse to where, oh, you can't use a controlled accelerate type. Oh, you can't use a player over 5'11", whatever pounds because they're going to be too heavy, and with the bad connection, they just feel stuck in the mud. You have to use a women's player under 5'7" that's explosive, or it's insanity, guys. The players and then their stats. That's what should matter. And it doesn't even matter. Listen up to this nonsense, especially after EA Sports lied once again and said that these playstyles were getting out of hand. They reverted where it wouldn't be as important. Oh, they'll boost your players a bit, but it's going to be about the player, their stats, and that's how what will matter on the pitch. And they lied. So listen up to this, and you tell me that this is a game that you want to waste your time playing if you're a true football gamer, if you truly want the football on the pitch to be determined by football gamer, if you truly want the football on the pitch to be determined by true football statistics, what matters, right? It's nonsense the way these games are going, and this is just a prime example of the trash that these other games have added because they lost the focus a long time ago of what really matters, which is what happens on the pitch, the football on the pitch. So let's hear what's going on lately in FC26.
I don't have the tweet pulled up here, but it's another match day player pick, okay? So it's a match day player pick between Bale and Jairzinho. And like most years, I would say, most years, guys, that Bale and Jairzinho, well, they've only been in FIFA for the recent few years, are absolutely really good players, right? But my problem with them this year, Bale and Jairzinho, the one thing they can get away with is the fact that they both have rapid. But Bale, 3-star weak foot, right? And what does he not have? 0 passing traits. So he's an absolute liability in this game now because he has 84 passing. And in a FIFA where he got added, right? And there's none of these play styles or any of this stuff. Bale would be double the price. But even the price he's at now, it's not fully priced in because he's got a 3-star weak foot, 84 passing, and 0 passing traits. So if you use him at left wing, right wing, or striker, you're only using him to go in behind and send through balls to. You're not going to be able to build up that well with him because his passing is just not going to be good. And, you look at the price of the SBC. Well, before the leak, he was 1.4. He's now $1 million. What's the SBC going to be? Probably like 800K, I would say. You look at Jairzinho, and obviously Jairzinho, we know in FIFA, guys, Jairzinho is really good. But again, you look at Jairzinho's play styles. Well, he's got a 4-star weak foot with 84 passing, but he has no passing traits. None. Right? None. Now, he has rapid and quick steps, so he's going to be flying. And yeah, I can understand why EA is releasing these two guys because they're kind of the same type of player, right? But they're not players that are going to be ultra effective or ultra really good this year. And look, it's not all about playing the meta, right? It's not all about playing the meta. That's not why I'm making this video. But if you're going to spend 1 million coins, it better be about the meta because that's a lot of coins. That's kind of what I'm saying. If you're going to invest that many coins into an icon of this stature, they better be able to pass the ball. And the reality is, EA told us going into this game, oh, guys, we're going to work on making stats more effective, right? They have made playstyles this year, in my opinion, even more OP than 25. 25 was even more OP than 24. In my opinion now, playstyles are an absolute requirement. And they make players with 40 stats on the card, if they have the proper playstyle for the mechanic, 99 stat. That's why with the screen promo, it proved it entirely. We had this Karim Benzema, right, that has no pace playstyles. He got 99 pace, and there was multiple other players that got 99 pace, and everybody was like, yo, what's going on? Because back in the day, you go on FIFA 20, you use a player with 99 pace, they are flying. They are flying. These guys couldn't even run. So it really showed you that stats matter for about a second.
So if you weren't around in FC during this time, during the screen promo, they gave each player, each new full moon, a 99 stat. And Benzema's was 99 pace, right? You know how FC does with the promos and the different goofy stuff. Anything they can do to try to hide the fact that the football on the pitch is terrible, right? The new crazy cards and all the different off-the-pitch stuff so players get addicted to menus and keep playing the game. But the bottom line is, what do you notice is a common denominator? Every year that the game gets worse and worse, the focus is more and more on off-the-pitch nonsense. So as playstyles get added, more and more new playstyles, right? The game gets worse and worse because the focus isn't on actually making the football better. In what world does a player have stats that do not match with how the player plays because of quote-unquote play styles? There's nothing realistic about that at all. That is some straight arcade nonsense. Leo Messi is not a special player because, he has like what you would determine as 90 shooting, but that's okay because he has the left foot finesse gold playstyle that he trained hard and got when he was 13. So now, you see what I'm saying? So Benzema, even with 99 pace, it didn't matter. Why? Because he didn't have rapid or quick step or any of those type of play styles to make him that fast on the pitch. So he still was slow as molasses. The stats mean nothing, whereas a game like goals, with actual gamers like Kurt0411, Stallion, these guys, these devs that are the best in the world that understand what football gamers want, understand how to connect real football to the virtual pitch and make it make sense, They know that the stats should be everything, and that's why in goals the stats are everything. It's simplified, but that's what the beautiful game is. All this trash that all these other games have added with the Showtime skills in eFootball and the ability perks in UFL, they're just copies off of the playstyles that have largely ruined FC. Many other things have ruined FC. Right? The top of the list is that the focus on the pitch and what goes on in the match has been just left untouched. Everything, all the focus is on other garbage, right? But this is a big part of the garbage they focus on. So you have players that are useless on the pitch now because they don't have certain play styles, right? It's no different than the useless formations. FC could literally just go down to 5 formations every year, and that one formation out of the 5 is going to be OP. Whether it's the 4-2-1-3 or the 4-5-1, which is OP right now, or the 4-2-3-1. Sometimes it's a 4-2-2-2, 4-3. I already said I think, but the 4-3-2-1. It just goes in a vicious circle of nonsense. Those are the only usable formations. And then the broken players. This year it's Claudia Pena. Another year it might be the smaller women's center backs because the bigger center backs can't move. Then it might be the speedy center backs like a Van de Ven or a LaCroix, no matter how low rated they are, how low their stats are, right? The women's players you have to use because the connection's bad. Or then all of a sudden the bigger players with lengthy are the meta because players like Holland or Sorloth or Gyökeres can run straight through the defenders. It's all focused on non-football nonsense. That is what is ruining these games. And a company like EA Sports has no problem clearly lying to the players to get them to buy the game, only to revert back to the trash that the players can't stand because they're clueless.
And then everything else goes away because they don't have the right playstyles. So, the frustration for me with this game, it's not about the content being like bad, right? Obviously, Bale and Jairzinho as an SBC is an awesome SBC, but EA have hurt themselves ultimately because they both are not going to be able to pass the ball, and you got to spend 1 million coins on a card to not be able to pass the ball. They're both, at least, and I'm seeing people on Twitter saying like, "Oh, I'm going to complete it because I'm going to throw them in an Evo." That's not okay, EA. How is Bale and Jairzinho in December not usable because of passing play styles, and you got people saying, "Oh, we're going to throw it into an Evo"? Come on! That's when you know the game is not in a good spot for the usability of cards. Now, Bale also has finesse, low-driven, enforcer. Bale is a pretty damn good card regardless, but the fact that you have to plug him in your team and you have to think, "Oh, man, I can't pass in certain situations with 84 passing and with 84 passing because they don't have this play style," sucks. It sucks. It's not fun to have that concept, right? And that's why I just completed this Dino, and now I'm going to be waiting on the Evo to give Dino a passing playstyle because he's needing it. He needs a tiki-taka. He needs a pinged pass.
Think about that. In a game where you have all these legendary players, right? Instead of utilizing them for how special they were and being spot on, because if you don't know, FC is terrible at getting these icons and heroes and all these cards to match their real life counterparts. Whereas, like, you got to give eFootball credit. As bad as that game is, as much as you can't even talk about it as a real football game because the AI does everything, for example, smart assist, making all the decisions, they do well at creating legendary players and at least getting them somewhat true to their real life counterparts. So in FC, you have a Ronaldinho card that, as Nick says, can't even be used because he doesn't have the passing play styles. That is insanity. You have to wait for a stupid play style to either come as, in a season pass, you have to pay $10 or whatever it is to then get to a certain level and get a play style where you can add to a card to add to Ronaldinho, or you have to wait for another card that has that passing play style, and it might be a player that's way worse than Ronaldinho that you don't want to use, but because of the play styles you have to. Similar to, let's say, Henry. You just saw earlier, and I'll explain it, but I was giving FC a whirl just to show how bad it is, no matter what. Even if you like the graphics of it, even if you like the feel of it after the patch, it's still a broken game. And the fact that I have Henry on the pitch and he was doing terrible compared to Trinity Rodman and Claudia Pena simply because of his height and his lack of playstyles, and because the women, since they're smaller and because of the server issues in FC, you can't use players like Henry sometimes or Gareth Bale sometimes and all this. That is a broken football game. And the only reason games like this keep players is simply A, because tradition, right? Many players have been playing FIFA, now FC, their whole lives, or eFootball, formerly PES, their whole lives, and it's hard for them to change. Similar to, like, I'm a Man U fan since 92. I still love Man U, even though the past over decade, probably since Sir Alex, to be honest, has just been nothing but heartache. It would be very easy for me to just say, screw this team, but I don't, because that's the team that I follow. It's that same reason. And then also, you have the nonsense players, the rat players that play these games because of these broken nonsense reasons, right? The same reason why players will waste time and score a goal and then flip the ball up to their player and head it to their goalie the rest of the game, or play a game to flip the ball up and do a bicycle kick the entire time, just trying that over and over, or in UFL, go for a glitch through ball so they can get a free goal, or hold down R1 and R2 to glitch through instead of playing football, or use smart assist in eFootball and spam whatever broken mechanics in that game. The same reason players like that, which doesn't make sense, like these losers play, right, is a reason why EA Sports gets away with crap like what Nick's talking about, right? It's the players that will play this game no matter what, just because they've been playing forever, and EA Sports knows that. And then it's the rat players that, as long as they have ways to use broken nonsense out on the pitch, basically not playing football but still finding success like losers would, taking shortcuts, right? No winners ever done what these rats do on the pitch, which ultimately is like a cancer. It spreads negatively throughout the game. That's why EA Sports gets away with this type of trash. And you better believe they know it. They're smart enough to understand this. So they lie to players. Because the players like Nick or Inception and these guys that care, even though they have a ton of eyeballs on them, right, there's millions more ratty players or players that are just going to play because they've been playing their whole lives. Now that is going to change. How do I know that? Because when you have a game as pure as goals, the true footballers are going to flock. Every game has their pocket of true football players that just want the PES of the old days, that just want the FIFAs of the old days, right? Maybe they went to UFL because they despise those two games, and even though there's trash in UFL, they're just like, I'm not. I have a ton of people that say, I play UFL simply because I despise FC, or I despise eFootball, I despise them both. Goals is going to come in, stay true to football, and steal all those true footballers because we have a great community full of monster players, and that little pocket of rats, which other games have tons of rats, pockets of good players. Goals has a majority good players, and you can tell us by the games you play. You play game after game, you see who you're going up against. And Goals has just a small pocket of rats. And the only reason that small pocket even exists right now is because we're in alpha. And a lot of the nonsense is going to be removed. There is no playstyles and this and that matters on the pitch. There's just a few mechanics that right now you can get away with abusing that no doubt are going to be taken care of. Because the voice of the majority in Goals is not rats. The voice of the majority in all these other games, unfortunately, is rats. Nick has a huge channel, but he is a minority with what he's saying. The majority of the ratty players want to just go in, park the bus, play counter through balls to their Holland, or run in circles, fidget spinner dribbling with their Claudio Pena, and they're fine with that. They're fine with the terrible connection that helps them because their opponent can't move, right? Where in Goals, there is none of that. So you don't have to ever worry about any of the BS that you have to worry about in FC, or eFootball, or UFL.
Or he needs an incisive to be able to play one type of pass with precision. Now, here's the other problem, right? Jairzinho got these World Tour cards came out, right? And look, I've had a lot of fun evoing them, but people have made better Jairzinho. So even the replies I've seen to the tweet saying, oh, my Jairzinho is better. And people got 82 Jairzinhos with 91 pace, 89 shooting, 88 passing, and then they put 2 passing silver playstyles on him. So their Jairzinhos have tiki-taka and incisive. And they're better. They're better. They are better. Even if they have worse stats, that card will be better in-game as an Evo. They probably cost them at the most 100k to do versus an 800k SBC. And it's the same situation where Bobby Charlton the other week, right? Bobby Charlton a million coins on the market. Look, I'm not ranting about the market prices. So he gets a card, right? And, you know, you get to a situation where EA just made Power Shot Plus because of how OP it was in the beginning of FC25 so bad this year, right, that he basically doesn't have a playstyle plus. And he's a 92 rated as well, so you can't even Evo him. He's too high rated to get Evo'd until, like, March. And that's the concept of the problem here. You look at the playstyles, he has no finesse shot, and he has no low driven. So Bobby Charlton is a card that literally for the last, like, I would say, especially in FC24, was mental good. And EA had playstyles in that game. There was playstyles in that game, but it wasn't dependent fully on playstyles. It was just helpful. So when EA goes in preseason this year and they're like, oh, we're going to revert playstyles, they freaking lied to us. They're more important than ever now, and they're more pay to win than ever for EA's business model because everybody has to now wait for an Evo to spend money on the Evo to give EA money to make their card usable. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Bobby Charlton is a card that, like, look, for me, in my hands, I'll still make him look really good. I'll still enjoy the game with him. But deep down, I'll know, oh, man, this guy in that striker spot, when he gets in that role, I'm going to have to shoot a normal shot because he doesn't have finesse and he doesn't have low driven. And to people that don't, I use precision, but people that don't use precision, oh, my God, you're cooked. If you don't have shooting play styles, you're cooked if you don't use precision. You can get away with it with precision. But so, you know, you look at the SBC and, you know, you go here, and Bobby Charlton comes out at $750K, which, to be honest, guys, it's not a bad price point when he was a mil on the market, but the reason it's 96% downvoted is people know he can't do anything because he doesn't have the low driven, he doesn't have the finesse, right? And then he's not going to be able to get Evo'd for 3 months, and he doesn't have any pace play styles except quick step, so he doesn't have rapid. So, you know, you only have Incisive Silver as a cam, you don't have Tiki Taka, you don't have Pink Pass, and so people look at their teams and they say, why would I do the SBC when I have this Evo for 70K that has all these things as an 85? And they're right. So EA have to figure that out. And I'm not ranting about Evos, but I'm saying, EA, you guys have made playstyles too important. They're too important in this game because we have these legends. Legends should be the most desirable cards, and they're no longer desirable in that way.
Exactly, and that makes the whole player system useless because what matters isn't the players, isn't their stats. It's the body type, right? It's the play styles. So think of all the different legends that are in the game that are useless, right? You have players that are like Xavi. They finally tried to make him useful because they have like a card like Iniesta they added, and they wanted that duo or maybe even adding Messi, and they wanted that stuff to matter. And it doesn't because those cards aren't quote-unquote meta. Even if they have incredible stats, or even if a player's, like the way they play, could make use of them, that tiki-taka style, because they aren't meta, they're not fast enough to chase down players or strong enough, they're useless, right? There's so many different ones. Van Basten, just a big tree up top. You can go on and on and on. They have crouches, more like a meme card in the game. The game and how the direction EA Sports has gone, it's a complete joke. So, oh, they have licenses for players and kits and all that. Who cares when the football's trash? When none of those players play like their real-life counterparts anyways, right? So I'll take our made-up players and goals where I can analyze each player, create my own superstars where their stats are what matters, right? Where their stats are what matters, and where I can play football out on the pitch, use the tools appropriately, the tools being the players, play the football I want to play, whether it's a 3-5-2, which works in this game better than any other game because all the formations are viable. It's just matching. You just got to use it correctly, right? You have to play in a way that works using the 3-5-2 or the 5-2-1-2 or the 4-4-2 or the 4-3-3 that I'm playing in this game. As long as your style matches it, then you can play it. And it's with the players. It doesn't matter their height, weight, whatever. What matters is how you utilize the players, right? Utilizing their strengths, staying away from their weaknesses, trying to find your opponent's players' weaknesses and exploiting those while shutting down their strengths. True football. Not all this added nonsense where, oh, he has the golden header trait and this player has like the auto goal left-footed trait. All this BS that these other games have. Goals development team, thank goodness, was smart enough to not add that trash because they recognize, because they're competent, unlike the other ones. Like, oh, all these games are trash, so if I'm UFL, they come in and they go, all these games are trash, so let's copy off of these games that everyone's sick of, There hasn't been a good game in decades, but let's literally create a football game just to copy off of the broken shit. Great idea, UFL. Smart. You have total manual defense, and you say, you know what? Let's copy off of FC's broken AI defense that everyone hates. Genius idea. And they just kept doing stuff like that over and over, which is why the game's at the state that it is right now, and it hasn't gone anywhere. It's just a complete and utter joke. Point blank. So this game right here, I don't care if you hate cartoon characters and you wish that the art was totally different, right? I don't care if you don't like the stadium, which, by the way, the stadium atmosphere and goals is also, even though it's sort of irrelevant compared to all the other stuff, it's still an awesome touch, right? So they do have certain things like the finishing, nothing's more satisfying. I wish they would turn it more like if you want to say one good thing that they could add from FC is similar to precision shooting. Like a dynamic shooting system to me is very important for a realistic football game because there absolutely is skill in it. And so I hope they add something of that nature. I believe in the non-goalie movement part. I think they just need to make the goalies smarter with like when they rush out, diving to the ball, not just stopping. Things like that, right? That player should have scored there. He didn't score because he didn't want to take that lofted through ball, but I'm going to give him the goal. Because that's not his fault. It was a good lofted through ball. So anyway, GG's to him, though, for trying to actually play. Notice how he played, by the way. No other players. You would never get that in FC. You would get a player that plays a lofted, and they would take it all day long, right? Because they're rats at heart. Goals. Notice the goals community. This is a random player, like by his team. I've never played this player before. And guess what he does? He does a through ball, which was honestly a fine through ball. It wasn't a glitch through ball or anything like that. And he doesn't take it because he felt it was a ratty way to score. You don't get that in any other football game. And the reason why goals attracts these types of players is because it's not a trash rat game at the heart of it. Right? Like no true footballers are going to deal with all the shit in those other games. That's just the bottom line. So this random game, as we're talking about this, I face an opponent that is in a tournament, right? The biggest rewards you can get right now, and he doesn't take a goal because he felt it was like a ratty way to score. So just think about that. All these things tie together. These development teams drive the trash players that are in their games. That's the bottom line because of the way they make their game. So all these rat losers in these other games, and when I call them that, it's just the truth. You're not going to call them winners. No winners ever play that way, and no winners would play these broken-ass games that don't take skill, that focus on everything but football. True football players are going to play the truest football game, and that's goals. Whether you agree with it or not, that is just facts. It's as simple as that. So, I'm going to continue the stream and keep playing, but when I post this video, if you enjoyed it, make sure you smash that like. In fact, smash the like on my stream too. It would help me a lot. If you don't mind, make sure if you haven't subscribed, you do so. Please join my Discord. We talk about goals and everything football, gaming, real football, the whole nine. And you can check out my YouTube bio. I have ways that you can support the channel and get some awesome perks. So, I will see you on the next one. If you're in the stream, I'm not ending the stream. Just killing two birds with one stone, if you will. So, thank you so much, and peace out. All right. Didn't expect that, but I feel like that's important for people to hear. I'll watch it back later and see, but it just, that hits on all the freaking points that I've been trying to make, man. It hits on all the points. I know that these guys, like Nick and them, they make the big bucks, right? I don't make the big bucks. I don't have, like, say, an editor. So in a situation like I just did right now, like if I have a chance to point out important information, like I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to put it out there. That's why when people give me shit about like the videos and how many I make, or like, oh, you don't have all these subscribers or views, I don't care about any of that. I didn't get into this because I wanted to be some big time content creator. I got into this because this is my, like, to some players or some people, they have golf after their, you know, playing careers, or like as their lifetime sport, if you will, or they have bowling, or they go fucking, I don't know, whatever people do. I play football games. I've played them my whole life. It's just early on, it was playing football games when it got dark out. We couldn't run around and play outside, right? Then it got to the point where I was playing football games to rest, like if I had a big tournament or a big game or something, okay? Then it got to the point where now this makes up for competing because I'm no longer able to actually play football. So this, like coaching, doesn't hit that competitive itch within football. So you want these games to be good. You don't want there to be rat players, right? You want to be able to play the game and compete in actual football and not have a broken game. So that's where I'm at with it. That's why I'm so passionate about not only football games, but why I'm so high up on goals too, because it's the first game that actually did this stuff right. Right? You see what I'm saying? Can't believe I just gave up that goal. That was silly. But I wasn't really focused or paying attention. We'll just have to go get it back. Whoa. Good defense. He read that well. Come on, Mari. Come on, Mari. Golazo! He's got to take off that angle better. He should have ran ahead of me and cut off that line. Made me cut it back and then read. There's just skill in everything in this game. Put it that way. He let me take the byline and I finished because of it. About to let me score this one too. Yep. Boom. I'm through. See ya. Oh, terrible touch. Oh. He hit me with the jump. I'm going to hit him with the jump and die. Good night. Good night. But that's where I want the cooldown period, though, boys and girls. That's where I want a 2-second cooldown period so you can't steal the ball right back. Even though he shouldn't have took... Great job. Good goal. He shouldn't have took the... he shouldn't have took that many touches. I like this. 86 minute. Can we come back? You can't argue about this game, dude. This game is the shiz, boys. Great run. Oh, he messed it up again. He messed it up again, dude. He's got to learn to mark that byline run. I wish I could talk to this player and help him. He's got to learn to mark that. You just run it. I mean, he just burned me, so he's got good attacking. Oh! Nice job. Nice job. Golden goal! He can't mark... his defense is really bad, but shoot, he just smoked me on the fake shot. Good job on offense by this guy. Maybe he thinks I can't mark like the breakaway, though. You know? Good D there. Oh, too many touches. You're in. Good night. Do 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 do. Let me record. Let me make sure I got this down. This one's the Nick one, yep. Come on, rename it. All right, cool. So that's important for people to see, I feel like. Maybe even some of the goals players have been so like upset lately, you know? I mean, we could go through every game and look at this stuff. eFootball. Somebody in Dominator just made one about eFootball too. And Dominator hates eFootball is one of the things. So let me see these videos. Played a full Real Madrid squad in eFootball. You have to click on them. This is probably my favorite. I respect this content creator the most. I'm not saying there aren't other good ones. Bauman's really good and stuff too. But we'll have to read. This is how you beat Smart Assist. We'll read that. That's crazy. There's got to be a way to beat Smart Assist. It's kind of funny. All right, we're playing some guy named Hippo. Could be a good player, maybe. I don't think I remember his name from the Riot Hippo Riot. I thought it said Hippo. See what we got here. That last game ended up being good, although I gave him the goal. You know what's funny, dude? It would be funny, like he ended up celebrating like every goal. I wonder if the dude even meant to miss that through ball like it seemed like he did. Ah! I dribbled into him. That was my fault. Ah! That was silly too of me. Good job to work it out of there. I don't usually score a lot of those, but they've been happening this game. Or in the 4-3-3, they seem to happen a decent amount. I will say that. Those inline goals. This Alonso's been an absolute beast. Good. Oh. See, that's where they got to have the cooldown period. They got to add it. Wasn't the best defending either way, but I did win the ball. Oh, yeah, we have a tackle backer. I've been trying to work on my individual defending, but against these guys, if you use your AI, that can take care of the tackle back bullshit that they do. But sometimes you get it too, obviously. Some players, like, go for it, though. And I could be wrong, but he seems like a player that's, like, loses the ball a lot and then just goes for it. And again, could be wrong. That's just my initial read on it. So you see there, if I just use my AI, he won't be able to dribble like that, then lose the ball, then... Yes, what a... Oh my gosh. See, like, I don't mind that. That's like a perfect through ball, right? Like, in my opinion, you guys tell me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But that was like a good diagonal through ball run. He didn't mark that he should have marked. So see, I got to mark this here, right? Oh, I read it perfectly, it felt like. And I guess I didn't. Oh, man, I better pick it up. Tackle back him. That was smart of you. Know what we're going to hit him with, guys? I got a good one for him. Hit him with this 3-5-2. Boom, boom. All right. So dumb of me again. Give me a break with his keeper, bro. What the hell? That wasn't what I wanted. You're in. Dude, this is one of those weird games. Too easy to read. Oh my god, dude. It's my own fault. This player's not very good. I'm not playing very good, though. He's up on a tackle back goal. So we'll see if we can get him second half. It's more me being myself right now. If I can just take my time on scoring goals, he doesn't really defend at all. So that's what I'm seeing. We'll see if it changes, though. So he's got a tackle back goal. I can't remember his first one. Might have been a good one, or vice versa. Oh, see, dude, he's not even defending. If I would have just went in a straight line, he had no idea how to... He wasn't trying to stop me at all. He was just standing there. Zero skill defending. It's hilarious. But that's my fault. I guess it's a skill in just standing there, right? Too easy. Yes. Finally. About time, brother. Yeah, if you're patient enough to let some dumbass like me dribble right into you, and I keep doing it over and over, then that's a skill, I guess, right? Like, all you gotta do is stand there. He's an idiot. He'll dribble into you. You're in. The Deadly 352, I just released a video on it, guys. You guys gotta go check it out. It can change your fate. I'm telling you. There's always options. Always options, boys and girls. And good night. Always options. Eventually, you'll get her done. GG's. Hopefully you realize, too, when I compete, I'm like, how can I say it? If you're ever an opponent that comes in, because this has happened a lot, some get it, some don't. Like, if I play you and I'm being a dumbass, I fully expect you to be like, dude, look at this dummy. Like, we're competing, right? Like, I was that type of player. Like, I have a chip on my shoulder. Like, you could be my best friend. If you're defending me, it's like, dude, you can't stop me. You know I'm going to my left the whole time, or my right the whole time. It don't matter. I'll beat your ass anyway. Damn, I'm smoking you. You're getting lucky, dude. You're terrible. And you know, like, it's kind of like that, bro. So don't ever take it personal. I've had that before. I play a player. Shout out Brixia, by the way, because I remember seeing his name in the Discord. I got that message from the dipshit, if you know, you know. And I just had a chip on my shoulder with everyone in Goals community, like they're bullies. And I saw these messages, and I showed Brixia some of the examples. Like, of course, anybody who got that, from my point of view, you can understand where I was coming from. So, unfortunately, I play him, and he's a guy that's like, dude, I love your content. I wanted to, like, I was happy to match you. I've seen your content from other games, bro. He'd seen my content, so I'd match him in Goals. And I'm just like, remember seeing his name in Discord, tied Discord, they're bullies, and just rip him to pieces. And he wasn't anything like like what I was given messages and stuff of. So he was cool and understood it, luckily. But it just reminded me of that. So Ippo, if in the heat of battle, don't listen to anything I'm saying. You could have been the best player ever. You obviously got a couple goals on me. In the heat of battle, that's just how it is. Let's check out this Indominator. This is how to beat Smart Assist. Isn't it insane that you got to have videos like this?
Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you a couple of tips on how to cover yourself against Smart Assist users, abusers, Retty boys, call it what you want. I will show you guys my way of covering yourself against Smart Assist, so make sure to smash the like buttons. Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you a couple of tips on how to cover yourself against Smart Assist users, abusers, Retty boys, call it what you want. I will show you guys my way of covering yourself against Smart Assist, so make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and enjoy this video. Alright guys, I just received a couple of new jerseys from John Sport. It is the best place to get the football jerseys from your favorite club or team. This time I went for the PSG third kit. For the Barca Madrid fans, I have this one. Got a nice FC Porto jersey as well. A free key. The Football League. I personally have no problem the AI correcting jerseys. Alright guys, Smart Assist. What can I say? I think that most of you guys agree that it shouldn't be in the Football League. I personally have no problem the AI correcting my opponent's decisions, passes, correcting it the right way. I mean, I can anticipate, I can learn from it every game, so I don't mind players using Smart Assist for that reason. Believe it or not, it's up to you. Unfortunately, Smart Assist also affects your opponent. If I'm playing against someone who uses Smart Assist, unfortunately it affects my gameplay. I'm then talking about my players being stuck in mud, my players playing hide and seek, my players suddenly stop running even though I'm holding sprint and my left stick towards the ball. The ones that do have some kind of an understanding in the game know what I'm talking about. And yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about Smart Assist. Once again, I don't mind being it in the game, I don't mind my opponents using it, but please just do not touch my players. Throughout these months I tried finding solutions, tried to find ways to reduce the amount of advantage Smart Assist users do have most of the games. So one tip I can give you which helped me out most of the games against Smart Assist users is by changing the pass level. I will show you what it looks like if you do turn on Smart Assist. As you can see, I usually play like...
Imagine playing a football game where your opponents are getting their passes corrected, their shots corrected. Oh, too much power. Sorry, we'll fix that power. Oh, you went low left. He moved his keeper low left. We're going to go low right. Oh, you did a through ball on the ground. That should have been a lofted through ball. Guys, that's insanity. Right? And Dominator is one of the best in the world at eFootball. So yeah, of course, he's cool with his opponent using it as long as it doesn't affect his players. Well, for one, it does affect the opponent's players too. Slowing down your players, making them miss balls, it's insane. Making them on just a simple skill move get their ankles broken and they go into an animation so you can't do anything. Even if you anticipated the skill move, it's terrible. But even with that said, not everyone's the best player in the world like in Dominator. So of course, when you have even matches, you're not going to be cool even if let's argue that Smart Assist for in a fantasy world didn't affect your players, only your opponents. You're not going to be cool with your opponent having all their mistakes corrected because an even game then is uneven. Your opponent's going to win and get the advantage, right? It's easier, of course, for the best player in the world to say it, but you got to think about that. A lot of games that are close or would be close, that are blowouts, in a lot of these top-ranked players even, are only that way because they're having the AI do everything for them. And the AI is already bad in eFootball outside of Smart Assist. And then they just times 10 added worse AI assistance on top of the already bad, overly AI assisted game, if that makes sense. So it's a complete nightmare if you're a true footballer and just want to play football and use your skill against an opponent's and may the best man win. That's never the case in eFootball.
dribbling into the space for them while they're not even holding the joystick towards the space. That's the support they're getting. That's why I would recommend you to hold the ball a little bit longer than usual. I will show you a match with gameplay of how I did beat a Smart Assist user, someone who's highly ranked but still uses Smart Assist. I thought Smart Assist was for beginners to learn how to play the game, but apparently many players from Division 1, from Division 1, are abusing it, taking advantage. Some people even switch it on in the second half if they're losing, if they can't beat their opponent with their own strength, which makes them a little bit more of a ratty loser, but it is what it is.
I 100% agree, and this is where I go after those ratty players. No winner has ever played a game fair and square. It's an even match, or maybe even their opponent, it's pretty even, but their opponent's getting the best of them 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, whatever. And so instead of finishing out the match and having the cojones to compete, they go and get the help of the AI. Can you imagine being that weak of a person, that big of a loser? And the fact that Konami supports this and even pushes this, and you'll hear the players, well, it's in the game, I'm just using a tool. No, you're a weak player with no skill that knows that it's boring playing where the AI makes your decisions, but you're not good enough to not you're not good enough and not enough of a true competitor to take a loss and then learn from it, right? And proverbially shake your opponent's hand and say, good game, you were the better man, you won the match. You're going to use whatever you can to try to get a win, even if you didn't earn it. Rat losers. Again, these games attract rat losers with what they add, such as Smart Assist. Winners play games like goals where it's their decisions playing the football. Winners don't care, oh, well, look at, and by the way, these graphics are nothing special. So if you can't deal with quote-unquote cartoon character animations or whatever you want to call it, graphics, and you have to have this, despite the terrible football, despite the Smart Assist nonsense and the AI control, you're not a true footballer. Let's be honest. This isn't football when the AI is doing everything, when people have to make videos to show you how to try to get around your opponent getting all their mistakes corrected. It's not even true PvP at that point.
Double touch, Jordi Alba. That was too much. Great decision making, though. How is he a Division 2 player? Plays like a Division 1 player, though. Oof, great defending. Ball Rolito to the wrong side.
And this is where I got to give eFootball credit, right? eFootball has the best speed of play on their passes. So listen to what I'm saying. Speed of play on their passes in the movement within the build-up. If you're watching, this looks closest to true football. You got to give eFootball credit there. The power-ups, terrible. The defensive system, terrible. The goalkeeper animations where a 2-mile-an-hour head ball, the goalkeeper parries it instead of collecting it, terrible, right? Obviously, all the AI that takes over is terrible, but the passing, right, when you get into a flow and you're moving the ball around, passing patterns, up, back, and throughs, give and goes, and things like that, brilliant in eFootball. That's actually where I'd like to see the pace and goals change to more like what eFootball, I believe it matches true football the best, which can totally be done, by the way. This pace of the passing and the weight of the ball, the weight of the players, if goals could add that, right, and go a little more towards eFootball and away from FC in that sense, where it's a little more arcade on the feeling of the pace, the movement of the ball, I would love it. If not, it's not the end of the world, but again, you got to give credit where credit's due. There are good things in each of these games. It's just, unfortunately, over the past decade to 2 decades, it's been more and more negatives added than positives. That's just the facts.
Color takes ages, bro. Wow, still winning it back with Color like that.
Smart assist. Boom.
Okay, he is using it. Okay. You boys were right.
So in case you didn't realize, he thought he had a good game against an opponent. And what happens is you notice when your passes and shots get auto-changed because you can't do that otherwise. So when you made the pass, the AI said, nope, we want to do a what they call stunning pass or stunning shot. And that's why that bar turned from green to purple. So now he's been playing this whole game, giving this Division 2 guy credit. But this guy hasn't been doing anything himself. If he made a bad pass, the smart assist surely corrected it. If he made a good shot, smart assist surely corrected it. So you have one of the best players in the world that's only barely up against a Division 2 player because of smart assist. That's how much it changes outcomes of games. Who would want to play a game like this? Because guess what? Most all of us, 99% of us, pretty much everyone that's watching is not even close to the level of Indominator. That's just a fact. If you play goals, he would be on like the level of a Markey, someone of this nature, right? Like an extremely special player. He could play that Jinsu, who's the defending world champion, if I'm not mistaken, to in a best of 7, it would be a toss-up, put it that way. So the fact that he can barely beat a Division 2 player because that player has smart assist, it ruins the whole game. Then imagine all of us first players with smart assist. So what do most players do? They turn it on because everyone's using it and it spreads like a ding, 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 cancer. That is the problem with eFootball. Congrats on the good parts of your game, but you totally are disqualified because of smart assist. You're almost disqualified because of all the other nonsense. I mean, your defensive system is so far from true football, so far from having a skill gap with the pressure and then the AI pressure on. You have AI pressure, then you hold X and your player pressures like running at the ball like a bat out of hell, literally kindergarten defending, just hawking down the ball, diving in. It's insanity, right? And the fact that this game derives from PES, the best, most true to football classic game ever, is insane. So, by the way, Prodigy, I'm talking to you here. When you say that goals looks and feels like PES 13 or PES 6, we'll take that as a compliment because that was literally the last good football game from this franchise, PES 13, right? And even that was questionable a little bit, but it was still a great game, right? It was no PES 6 pound for pound, but it was still a great game. And it's modern day feel with that PES feel that you're thinking when you play goals or see goals simply comes from the fact that it's true football. There's no nonsense added. There's no Showtime skills, smart assist, all the other BS. That's where you get that classic PES feel because classic PES was all about your decisions in true football. So it's a compliment, right? You can say what you want about the cartoon characters, but the art's good. It's not bad. When you look at the art, it's sharply done. It's professionally done. It's not realistic, so it might get a while to get used to because UFL, eFootball, and FC all have that similar like look as far as realism goes. But this game is so far from real football that who cares about that, right? When you want to play real football, you go to goals. That's the bottom line. You go to goals. Look, cartoon characters. Big deal. Because I know going in, my opponent can't use smart assist because there is no smart assist. I know going into this game that it's going to come down to my decisions and my opponents. And if they do decide to abuse the couple things that are in this game because it's alpha, those things will be gone by full release, then so be it. But hands down, you cannot compare eFootball to goals. That's just a fact. So that's 2 games down. FC and eFootball, right? UFL, I showed you earlier by playing. I shouldn't have to go any further than a broken through ball glitch, right, that ruins the game, as well as something that you didn't see too much of, but the R1, R2 glitch, right? The bottom line is, I just won a final. That was maybe the quickest I've ever won a final, but okay. The bottom line is, I'm not joking when I'm saying all these positive things about goals, right? These are all facts. And this game is still an alpha. It's only going to get better and better and sharper. People have to realize that. All right, let's see if we can get any upgrades here. So, comeback champion. And again, more and more modes will be added where where you don't only have the options of like, you know, playing tournaments or waiting for your rewards to come and then playing, like, more and more of that will come. But for an alpha, no other game even releases that early. Right? eFootball doesn't even really do, they don't even really do a beta. Everything's behind closed doors and they keep releasing updates, and eventually eFootball 24 becomes 25, becomes 26. UFL, same way. They had their beta that was so bad they had to delay the release of the game. Like, the only one that does a beta is FC, and by then the game's pretty much done. During their alpha stage, it's all closed behind closed doors, or they might fly out a few, like, pros or somebody to look at it. Not even close. Hopefully I have some updates to make, because I've won quite a few tournaments lately. Let's see here. So sell you, sell you. These players are getting sold because there's not enough upgrades to bring someone that low rated up. Edit team, you go in. Change squad. It's my regular team. I'll delete this one for now. Delete. So this is my full team. Which, by the way, I am switching to that 3-5. What I got to decide is either 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2. Let me look at this difference. So 3 CBs, 3 CMs, 2 wing mids, or 2 CMs. I think I should do 3, because with the 3-4-1-2, that cam doesn't come back and help cover. Whereas in this position they do, but you don't get as much help in the attack. Three, 4, 1, 2, but I could put them on defensive, and then they don't come up as much. Yeah, I go 3-5-2. 50 balanced. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Whoa, 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 whoa. Boom, boom. Actually, over here. Alonso's on the wing on the right. Madi. No, Sparks, CM, good. Ruprecht, who I need to upgrade. When is he getting upgraded? I'm getting there, man. I can't wait for that upgrade. Engel, Keo, yep. My defensive center mid is here. Instead of having a cam, I have one defensive and then 2 box to box. And the other one, I'd have 1 cam, 2 defensive that are listed as regular CMs. Yeah, so I like it like this better. And then Madi coming from all the way out wide. No, I want Madi. Let's see, Madi. Yeah, Madi coming in, but I kind of want her in here. Keo. $5.96. 297 Madi. Kehoe. Alright. I need a left. I need a left winger badly. Because that's what I want there. She can cut in and score. I need a lefty to cut in here. Weak foot, so that's good. Long shots, okay. Her long shots are elite. This is that secret weapon system I was telling you guys about. I have my CDM here. You go into player roles. You want this on Defensive, again, a video's out on this, so you can check out that for details. Defend, defend, defend. These two are balanced. These two on attacking. Perfect. Keeper's on sweeper keeper. And that's the setup. That's the game changer, boys and girls. Now, the fun part. Let's see how many I got to... Okay. See if we get any good upgrades out of this. Lizaraga, Lizaraga, Lizaraga. Did he go up? Lizaraga, Lizaraga. No, not too much. Man, there's not... The 100K doesn't do too much for players, man. It sucks. Oh, I've been waiting for this goalie. Please be good, man. Please be good. I don't think you're good enough to beat out my current keeper. 189 CM. She is 183. So let's see, 90. So his diving's better. Her handling's better. Her discipline's better. His reflexes are better. Her awareness is better. Her athleticism's better. But he's plus 24 on reflexes. So awareness, positioning, and all that is terrible. Hers is better there. Catching and pairings in the 90s. 87s. I don't know. I might try him just to try him. Strength and jumping 82. Acceleration. Her acceleration's 99. His acceleration's 77. He's taller though. You know what? I'm gonna give him a go. Just to see a different keeper. You know what I'm saying? But I'll keep McNabb around. She's 28. So I've been using her for a while now. He's only 18. Look at the difference. Look at how he looks though. And she's 28. Alright. No other upgrades though, unfortunately. And then as far as we have 4 hours till the new cards come. Don't think I can make it for a 4-hour stream. So I'll have to come back. But you guys have a good one. Hopefully that was enjoyable. My goal isn't to like convince people to play goals if they don't like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm just making factual arguments, and I think some people don't look at all the facts. I don't think some people look at all the details of these games, so I just try to put them out there. Make sure if you forgot, you go and like the video if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, don't hit like. But if you do and you liked it, I'd appreciate it. If you could subscribe if you haven't, I'd appreciate it. If you haven't joined my Discord, that'd be cool too. And check out the YouTube bio, man. If there's anything that interests you, instant content, there's a couple dollars a month for a membership to get instant content. I have stuff for people who want to support more with merch and even the coaching aspect, man. Breaking down tape, doing one-on-one sessions. We got it all, man. I love doing this. I have a passion for it. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.